Welcome everybody. We are very, very, very excited about this day, about Bashar being in our presence in a more specific way than up in the air, where we know his ship is, we've been told, and the ship has been coming down and down. So who knows what he's going to tell us today about, maybe he's even come even closer. We are with many people here. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for, this is because we are all family, right? And this is what we are celebrating today with our friend, teacher, for some longtime friend, for others, new excitement to be part of that together today. We are looking forward to that very much. The first part will be pre-recorded, and then Daryl has not arrived yet in April. When they arrive, he will do the live part of the session. That is basically what I wanted to share with you. I wish you all a very beautiful day, a very good experience, and very good connections, because we feel it's all about making connections, also connections with each other. And we are have all a similar interest, so there's lots and lots to share between all of us. Have a beautiful day.
All right, we will say good day to you all. We will, first of all, once again welcome all of you, each and every one of you individually, all of you together, collectively, into this particular gathering in the area on your planet known as the Sedona Vortex. Our ship, as many of you may know, is now, at this particular moment, approximately 1,936 miles above your position. We are regulating, helping to balance the energies of the Sedona Vortex, since it is the major vortex in your area that connects to many other vortices. And by regulating the energy of the Sedona Vortex, we can also help regulate the flow of energies, the balance of energies, the frequencies of energies in many of the surrounding vortices as well. So in this interaction, you will be immersed in this bubble vibration, in this bubble reality that is representative of a vortex that is connected to many others around your planet, thus then enabling you through the course of these interactions, this day of your time, to allow your neurological system, your brain, your body, through the information you will be absorbing, you will allow these systems, these neurological systems, to rewire themselves in specific ways to become more sensitive as antennae for the particular frequencies that are representative of change and transformation, and experiencing these changes and transformations that are now paramount in your lives, paramount in your world, experiencing them in a smooth, more effortless way, more joyful way. So we invite you to relax, allow yourselves the opportunity to simply let this information in, let these vibrations in, let the frequency in. Take a deep breath and allow yourselves to go along, knowing that whatever it is that truly needs to sink into you will be the vibration that will come in. No more and no less than that. Whatever you are not ready for, you will not absorb until you are, until your life unfolds in a manner to allow your vibration to match the frequencies that we are delivering in this transmission. Because these transmissions, in many ways, are what you call holographic. And thus then there is far more information being delivered in a variety of levels than your ears may be hearing. Many more frequencies of information than you may be perceiving right now. But in time, as you change, as your frequency changes, as you become an antenna more sensitive to other kinds of dimensional levels of information, you will thus then allow these things to sink in, to rewire you in ways that you are ready to apply in your physical reality. For all the information will be there, even though it may not necessarily be absorbed to the deepest levels of your being, even though it may not necessarily rewire your brain and your neurology specifically in the way certain bits of this information will, all of it will be present for you. All of it will be accessible. All of it will be available. But you will, in a time-released fashion, download whatever portions of this information being delivered to you today that you need in your own timing, whatever works for you. So just relax. You will miss nothing. All information is always accessible all the time. As we have said, what you typically refer to in your reality as the Akashic records is not really some mysterious distant place where everything is recorded as if on some sort of tape. It is simply the understanding and the idea that all things are here and now, and therefore all information is always accessible to you depending upon your frequency, because that frequency will determine what information you are capable of accessing and realizing and perceiving. Now, in conjunction with the idea that we are transmitting this information to you this day of your time in the Sedona vortex, this very powerful interdimensional gate, we will be once again allowing a being known as Willa Hillikrissing to address certain ideas. We will help facilitate the transmission of her consciousness from her reality through the channel to your reality, acting as a go-between, acting as a mediator, acting as a facilitator, acting as a co-translation moderator for her thought patterns, because we have worked with her to help train her to deliver this information through to you at this time. So we will, thus, in introducing once again her to you, allow her to communicate certain concepts that are necessary now for many of you to begin to absorb with respect to a deeper understanding of parallel realities, how it is you use parallel realities in your daily lives, because you all do all the time. And thus then, a bit at a time, a piece at a time, her information, being that she is, in her time frame, 700 years in what you call your future on Earth, She is a parallel reality specialist, thus then highly qualified to deliver to you more precisely this information. And in doing this, through her, it will also help form, in a sense, a compass needle, an arrow, a pointer, a guide, a bridge, a link, a connecting vibration to what you call your future, the future of your society on earth, because she is a part of that society, as we said, in terms of the way you look at time, 700 years in your future. So she is part of the society that exists on your planet at that time. For it is very different from what you experience on your planet now. Thus then, along with a couple of diagrams that she will explain to you, we will now allow for the adjustment to occur to bring through this being from your future, who you may simply know as Willa. One moment. All right, then. At this time, I will say good day to you, my cookies. You're all in this way present for this form of transmission. For I will say that in this way, we have learned to bridge through the Bashar other parallel realities. And this enhances and increases our understanding of the ways in which the structure exists for all of us, and the ways in which we are connected through this structure of existence. So we will begin now to share with you many of the things, a bit at a time, in what we have learned will call bite-sized nuggets, bite-sized cookies. To absorb this information, we will give it to you, little bits at a time, so you have the time to digest this information in a way that works for you. Otherwise, of course, it would be pointless, would it not? So, we will begin a little bit with a little bit of our background, introducing ourselves, as it were, so you have some degree of familiarity with us, and so that we may develop this relationship over what you call time. For we will be speaking with you many times through the course and transitions taking place on your planet, and we understand that the time frame, what we call downline from us, for we are what you would call upline from you, what you call your future, what we call you in the past, downline. We understand the time frame in your reckoning, in your kenning, would be your year of 2013, which is about, again from your linear perspective, 700 years ago to me. But clearly we all exist at the same time, or we would not be having this conversation now, would we? So, gear yourselves in this way for the following information that I will ken to you. As the Bashar has already informed you, my name is Willa Hillicrissing, and as we have previously and briefly explained, we are a type of hybrid being, and in what you call your future, when many different types of hybrid beings will exist in the society of Earth, there will be those that will take upon themselves names that are connected to nature. First names, middle names, last names that will be connected to natural things. This then will be the idea of the origin of my name, for in your time you would have used the terms willow, like the tree, and helichrysum, like the herb. But in my time, there has been the continuation of the sociological evolution of words and language and name. So, in my time, willow, helichrysum, has evolved into that which I now label myself as willa, helichrysing. Though many will still retain the idea of something you would recognize as words in your own lexicon. For example, I will refer now and then to my mentor, who we have termed the name of Holly Cotton, and you can see again the utilization, as you say, of the ideas of nature in the tree and the plant of holly and cotton. This will be a very common way that these beings amongst our society will have named themselves now for generations. So, the idea is that about down line 50 of your years, Holly thus then created a work that we have called Shards of the Shattered Mirror. And this has formed the basis for the ideas and understandings of all that I now study in terms of the idea of parallel reality specialization. Before we thus then present to you how we work with these ideas of parallel realities in one particular way, again, a little bit more understanding of my being. Though I have referred to myself as a hybrid, I am not what you typically, even in your reality, think of as the typical hybrid being from those encounters that have occurred in your society between Earth human and gray being. I am something far different than that. So allow me first to share with you my particular nature, so you'll have a little bit better understanding of who I am and why I am doing what I am doing and why I am speaking to you this day this way. First and foremost, in terms of my look, you would say I am, of course, female. And in this way, I would look a little bit like what you in your lexicon would recognize as elfish. Though I am similar to your heights. The idea is that my eyes are golden yellow, and my hair in that sense falls to my shoulders but does not fall straight. For it is in that sense rougher, like the fur of the fox, and lightly colored, cinnamon and rusts. You'll find that I am, in that sense, of slightly pointed ear and slender of build. And in this way, as most people know me, I am most mischievous in my attitude and carriage. For the idea of my joy is expressed through my work in a variety of ways. But I am a mixture of many things, not just the idea of your off-earth human and human, for I am also containing serious energies. I am also genetically disposed to a few other beings and civilizations. I am a mixture in a variety of ways, but I am also relatively unique in the society. For there are only 33 of my kind. I am in your lexicon what you might call a shapeshifter. In our own lexicon, upline from you, we are in our own lexicon called cryptics. The idea is that while it has been explained to you by the Bashar that time is a side effect from your consciousness shifting from parallel reality to parallel reality billions of times per second, And while obviously my reality involves the experience of time in a similar way, there are things I can also do with time, things I can experience with parallel realities that are different than you. For as a shapeshifter, not only can I experience the idea of shifting through parallel realities in the way that you do to create the sensation and experience you call time, but I can also shift parallel realities through myself. And in so doing, you would experience the idea of my shape shifting in your reality. You would see a variety of parallel reality versions of me shifting before your eyes to whatever form and fashion I so desire. So as a cryptic, as a shapeshifter, I am one of 33. And in that way, this is what forms the title of this transmission, the 33rd parallel, for it is me and my team of cryptics that deal as parallel reality specialists on the earth, and there are only 33 of us. And we form the 33rd parallel team that aids and assists in the understanding and exploration of these ideas for you, and shares with many other factions across many other parallel realities the information that we have discovered. For we do not exist in any one particular parallel stream, but in many, simultaneously, for such is the nature of being a cryptic. It is not confusing to us because we were born this way. It is our nature, and in this way can demonstrate to many, many beings in our own reality reflections and aspects of many other kinds of parallel reality streams by seeing the reflections change in the mirrors that we are as cryptics, as shapeshifters. And so, let us begin to impart some of our discoveries to you this way. We will now describe, and we have been told by the Bashar that you will be able with your technology to see these diagrams in your own way, in your own recordings. We will describe to you now what we will call in our lexicon PIN charts, P-I-N, which stands for Parallel Incarnation Chart. This is one of the devices that we use to understand, to express, to record the idea of our perception of different parallel incarnations. For again, even though you may think of the idea of past and future lives, as the Bashar has explained, they are all simultaneously coexistent, all exist at once. And again, were it not so, we could not be having this lovely conversation now today, could we? For I exist simultaneously with you, even though you perceive me being 700 years in your future. So these charts, these PIN charts, which go by the more formal title of Oversoul Vector Diagrams, but we find that to be a bit too stuffy. So we use the term PIN chart, Parallel Incarnation Chart, in our present-day lexicon, in our sideline reality. You will see thus then, if you are now looking at this chart, that it is formed of a grid that represents a variety of different calibrations. These calibrations, the primary ones, the basic ones, being the idea that at the center of this chart, in the square in the center, you will see that this contains a representation, reflects a representation of the being that we are doing the chart for, the present day being, whoever that may be. And there is an indication in the center of three different varieties. In that sense, three different states of that being that we will get into in a moment. But you can also see that there are different levels, different delineations in this chart, expanding outward from the center. And you'll find that if you look at the chart on the left, up and down, will be the idea of what you call the present, which we term, we ken to be the sideline. That is the lifespan of the being in what you call present terms, the present incarnation that you experience here. And you can see that it goes up line from there and down line from there into what you would label the future and the past. And in this way, we chart the idea in the timeline, even though all is simultaneous. And you can see from left to right, there being in the center the idea of the being, if it expresses itself as other than male or female, but to the left would be male incarnations, and to the right would be female incarnations, both upline and downline in the future and the past. The inner portion of this grid, the one closest to the center square, will be those incarnations that are most closely connected through genetics and family lines. The idea of the next level, the next ring, the next square ring, will be those that you would consider to be unrelated incarnations genetically. And the one in the outer level will be those that are in other civilizations altogether, other realities altogether, you would call extraterrestrial. Thus you can also see that division along the bottom of the chart into extraterrestrial on both sides and Earth human in the middle. But even the Earth human in our time is not necessarily what you understand humanity to be in yours. For again, we are now mostly of a hybrid species, and a variety of things exist upon the planet. So that idea of saying Earth being is more accurate than saying Earth human. And of course, these charts can be adjusted for any civilization and any individual beings, simultaneously concurrent parallel incarnations. There are many different kinds of adjustments that can be made in these charts, but we will begin very simply so as not to cause confusion in this way, because it takes a great deal of mastery and education to learn the idea of exactly how to use these charts and chart the idea of all these different incarnations as may relate to any particular individual. For there are a number, a variety and a myriad of different incarnations that can be had. If you will thus then now, please display chart number 2. You will see the differences that have been made in this chart are representative of a few different things. You will see that in the central square, the left side has been blackened in and labeled with the letter A. This will represent the present person. In this case, it's a male because it's on the left. If it had been colored in on the right, it would be a female in present incarnation. If it had been colored in that small center square, you would know it is neither male nor female, but other. So we begin there. And you can see immediately to one side a small blue line. Each of the small squares, the tiny grid that is overlaid upon this chart, has been adjusted in this particular example to represent 10-year increments. It can be any increment at all. And it can vary from time to time, all the way even down to minutes and seconds, days, weeks, months, years, centuries. It can be adjusted in any way, shape, or form you so desire, depending upon the chart you are creating. But for now, in this example, we will begin with the idea of each of those squares being a decade, 10 years of your counting. And thus you can see that what it tells you by the blue line that exists on the side where the male is indicated is that, for simplicity's sake, it covers 4 squares. And thus you can say that in the present incarnation, this individual is age 40 years. So that tells you immediately you are dealing with a male individual, a male incarnation, 40 years of age in its present incarnation in the reality in which it exists on Earth. Now you can see, however, that farther away, above and to the left, a longer black line. Because this black line starts 2 squares above the present incarnation line, the side line, which represents the lifespan in present incarnation, because it starts 2 squares above, that basically is an indication that that particular incarnation was born 20 years after the present lifespan of this person, and extends for 100 years into the future, upline as we say. So that incarnation is male because it's on the left side, and extends for 100-year lifespan. While lower on the right you can see an example of what you would call a past life. Downline we say, because it's all simultaneous, of a female that was born 130 of your years before the present lifespan of this male, but died 60 years before the present lifespan of this male was born. Thus then, this female lived a life of 70 years and is in relation to the present life in what you call the past on the female side. Now, if any of these lines had crossed into the sideline area represented by that band across the center from left to right, which represents the lifespan, the current lifespan of the present individual that we are doing the chart for, then that would mean that that life was actually being lived concurrently with the present life, would be what is called, partly at least, a counterpart. Because a soul can have incarnations in the same time frame, more than one. And that is how it would be represented on this chart, as overlapping the present lifespan band, the sideline band, to be understood to be incarnated concurrently, at least to some degree. And if this being had been, again, other than an earth being, then these lines would have extended out, would have been placed out in the outer rings. But what this shows you here is a variety of things and relationships that exist between these incarnations. And it can get much more complex than this. Again, we are only showing you a very simple slice of this idea, of this technique. And many of our charts may even show dozens, some even hundreds of these lifelines, what we call pinpoints, for it is a pin chart. So any particular life we call a pinpoint. But they stretch into these lines representing timelines, what we say upline, downline, what you call future and past, what you call the lifespan. Many of these charts can be filled with these lines. Many of them can overlap in a variety of ways. And this tells us a lot about exactly what the oversoul is doing of this particular group of beings and how it is expressing itself along these different timelines. And it allows us to understand the relationship between all these different incarnations. And it tells us a lot about the energy of that oversoul that all these lives are connected to. So we use these kinds of charts to determine these things as we perceive these incarnations. And it again can become much more layered even than this that you're seeing here, which is only representative of a slice. For you can stack these pin charts on top of one another, and this can represent the idea of even different parallel time streams altogether. In other words, alternate realities, alternate versions of this individual, alternate realities, alternate earths, different experiences, different incarnations, even on alternate earths. And so these pin charts can become three-dimensional, fourth-dimensional, fifth-dimensional. They can become, in that sense, very multi-layered. Now then, we do not use, in our upline time frame, of course, paper and pen, or even flat electronic pads as you do, to represent these things. No. We have in our time frame what we call nanoglass, nanocubes. For it is, if you imagine a cube of clear glass, or what would appear to you to be clear glass, a cube. And they can be of varying sizes, but most commonly they will be about a foot or two on each side. And in these nanoglass cubes, they are the equivalent of what you would recognize in your time frame as a computer. And in these transparent cubes do appear these pin charts in all their full 3 and 4th and 5th dimensional glory, for us to be able to view from all sides and all angles and understand the relationships between the simultaneous incarnations that may occur in any one particular alternate timeline, any one particular alternate reality version, and also all of them together, and thus then give us a complete understanding of all the different simultaneous incarnations that the Oversoul may be extending from itself. And this is why these were originally called in the old lexicon Oversoul vector diagrams, which we have now streamlined in our time frame into pin charts. So you can begin to understand from this simple explanation how we, in the 33rd parallel, the team of 33, how all the cryptics can begin to view all these different parallel incarnations. And this is another ability that we have. For it is that many people, many beings will come to us because we have the ability to perceive in all these different parallel reality dimensions and alternate realities. We have the ability to trace, track, and perceive these alternate incarnations of any individual. And thus then it is uniquely our talent to form these pin charts for different individuals who come seeking this information from us. This is what we do. This is our calling. This is our nature. This is our ability. This is who we are. In time, you may be introduced to a few others of my team in the 33rd parallel. But for now, I will be the one that will come through more often than not, although I have been told that my mentor, Holly Cotton, may from time to time also put a word in or two. In my time frame, in what I refer to as my own personal sideline, Holly, in your terms of counting, is about 150 of your years old. I came into this and found her in that way many, many years ago, though I am, in your terms of counting, still relatively young. But you'll find, synchronistically enough, that I am 33. And this timing is one of the reasons why the synchronicity has now occurred in your year of 2013, in your downline time frame, that you can it to be the year of transformation, why these connections can now occur, why your minds and your neurology have been prepared sufficiently to receive these kinds of informations, these kinds of downloads from us and others. For there are no accidents in timing, it is all an orchestration. And a beautiful song and symphony it is to our ears and our senses that we get to play with you in this way, at this timing, my cookies. For you're all little bits of information, little sweet bites in a variety of ways, and so, cookies you are. There will be many other kinds of ideas that we will share with you along these lines of learning how to apply the concept of beginning to perceive and recognize that you are shifting through parallel realities all the time to create the side effect you call time. And we will be sharing many more ways you can apply this information in your life. For now, we will let you absorb what has been given, and we will turn the transmission back to the Bashar. But we are very, very happy to have met you all, and to be introduced in this way, and to share with our kith and kin in this way with you downline. And we thank you for expanding our reality and our perceptions, and allowing us our nature, and to interact with your nature in this way. For we are, in that sense, truly family, being of the same world, and being extensions of each other in many ways through the oversoul vectors that we have now just discussed with you. And remember that I am, in my physiology of two hearts, For this is also one of my, what you would call in your lexicon, nicknames. Many people in my world not only call me a cryptic, but they call me Willa Two Hearts. So both hearts are beating now with love for you all. So double love to you all. And we thank you and turn back the transmission to the Bashar. Blessings and sharings to you all. There will be many more transmissions from Willa and her kin in the 33rd parallel, and there will be more discussions of this idea of parallel realities and how to apply these ideas practically, effectively, in your understanding of reality, in your incarnation, your pinpoint. And this can be the subject of the continuation of many of the questions and answers that will happen in this transmission this day of your time, in the live interactions that we will undertake with you after this particular recorded session. But we wanted to lay the foundation and allow Willa herself to lay out these lines for you, because not only is it about the information she has delivered to you in this way, through the channel vocally, it is not only about the information she has delivered in this way, through the diagrams and charts that you have been shown and handed physically this day of your time, so that you will have your own copy of this chart to take with you, to look at, to absorb, to study. But it is also about her particular vibrational energy, her particular frequency that you are also absorbing, because it will, in that sense, draw you like a magnet to your compass needle into that particular frequency that represents the reality stream, the parallel reality stream of her existence, like a marker, like a guidepost, like a lighthouse, like a beacon, specifically along that corridor of parallel realities toward that particular future, or as Willa would say, upline existence. And thus then it gives you a homing beacon to stay within that frequency that Willa has imparted to all of you, in conjunction with the frequencies that we have imparted to all of you, blending together in a hybridized way, and in itself becoming more capable of allowing you to become more receptive to the vibrations of her cryptic nature, her shape-shifting nature, so that even though you may not shift in the way that Willa does, you can allow for more superconductivity and hyperconductivity of energy flow in all directions within you, to allow you to shift through your parallel reality streams of choice in your theme of exploration in ways that are far more effortless, smoother, so that you blend and harmonize and accelerate and experience more and more of your total selves. One moment. Later in your terms of time, there will be a meditation given in conjunction with the holotope that will specifically be designed as a vortex meditation to aid and assist you in amplifying, magnifying, and aligning and harmonizing with the vibrations of the vortex you are now immersed in, the bubble reality you are now experiencing with this transmission. And at that time, I will also aid and assist in directing your consciousness to some of the other vortices nearby that the Sedona vortex is linked with and connected to, for purposes of allowing you to begin to experience some of the alternate shifting patterns that are possible within this bubble reality and magnifications that can occur within your consciousness and perceptions that can come to you along these lines. But that will be then. In a different now than this now. In this now, we will simply allow you to absorb what has been given, knowing that you are being, by your very own choice, at your very own pace, in your very own way and your very own style, rewiring yourselves to allow these energies to flow along those neurological pathways more easily, more effortlessly, more harmoniously, with more blending, more holistically, less segregation, more integration, more love, more joy. So breathe all of it in, and with every exhalation know that you are shifting, shifting, shifting into the vibrations of the 33rd parallel to whatever extent Willa and her team will help guide you, to whatever degree is appropriate for you to absorb that energy information and make it your own for your own applications and purposes in the theme of exploration that you chose as this particular pinpoint incarnation, here and now, as a vector of your oversoul, in concert and orchestration with all the other vectors, simultaneously, here and now. You may now take a short break, after which we will create a transmission between us to allow for the exchange of further information, questions and answers along these lines of the 33rd parallel. We thank you. Take your break.
So if everyone would take their seats, we'll go ahead and start with the second part of our adventure. You know, honestly, I have to tell you all that when I stand here and I see so many people, kind of crammed together in a little space in this room, and, this room has just fabulous energy, and our location has incredible energy, and we know that Bashar is up there enjoying this whole experience. I mean, it is kind of cool, isn't he? He's like up there and like talking through Daryl here, But it seems like a fantasy come true, that so many people who enjoy Bashar's information and are on board for moving to the next phase of our experience where we have contact with other civilizations and other consciousnesses. And it's just a real privilege to be with all of you and to experience this together. I feel like we're all just one big family, one big galactic family. So thank you so much for being here. We're going to show you little bits of information about a new thing that Bashar has been doing. This is really like a collaboration that he's been doing with me, of creating a series of guided meditations that we go to certain locations or interact with certain beings in order to experience the full breadth of what is possible and receive information, downloads, and essentially go through life-transforming experience. And recently I've been doing workshops that are called Cetacean Transformation in Hawaii, where we swim with dolphins every day. And every morning we do a guided meditation, and every evening we do a guided meditation. And by the end of the week, you truly experience a whole different level of existence that is, I guess you would say, a combination of the cetacean energy that's been brought to you, the energy of Bashar that he's given to us through the guided meditations, and also myself as facilitating the experience and the group themselves, because everyone in the group, of course, brings energy, and by the time it's all done, everyone has just changed very dramatically and knows how to experience deeper and deeper levels of ecstasy and well-being on planet Earth. So it is truly bringing heaven to Earth. So we'd like to show you some scenes from Cetacean Transformation. The next one will be scheduled in October, and if you're interested, you can contact us at april@dolphindreamsofhawaii.com, or you can find it also on the bashar.org website. This particular video also, that group were lucky enough to experience the first day 500 dolphins came, and they were totally in celebration mode. I mean, they were leaping, they were spinning, they were interacting with people. It was truly like being in the middle of a giant dolphin celebration. And that was our welcome on the first day. And we also experienced a new dolphin that we hadn't seen before, which was a rough-toothed dolphin came and visited us, which is also a very rare occurrence. So I'll turn this over to Emmy and her wonderful music and give you a taste of Cetacean Transformation.
Will you swim in the same ocean? Swim in the same ocean with me? Oh yes, swim in the same ocean. Swim in the same ocean with me. Together we'll play. Our distant lands won't seem so far away. You'll be close to me when we share the water of the same sea. How much closer we'll be when you swim in the same ocean with me. Swim in the same ocean. 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 May our hearts be together by the same rays of sunlight and breathe. And when night falls upon us, by the same stars above, we'll dream. Whoa, though miles apart, we've flown together like the beat of just one heart. The same air we'll breathe from different lands that share the same sea. How much closer we'll be when you swim in the same ocean with me. Swim in the same ocean. Swim in the same ocean. Swim in the same ocean. Swim in the same ocean.
Though there may be many islands of land, there is only one ocean that surrounds them all. And the dolphins and the whales are connected to all places because they know it is all one sea, one ocean, one world.
We're
So that was our February group, and Bridget was part of that group. Who else is here that was part of the cetacean transformation? Shiva and Victoria. Anyone else? And other people that, no, and even other groups that have gone. And so the only thing I can share with you is that if you want to prepare for ET contact, there's nothing like that experience of looking into the eye of a dolphin or a whale and having that communication experience of knowing what it's like to understand another species. So we invite you to join us for that. And the second thing we wanted to share with you was from the whale trip that we did in the Dominican Republic this year. I spent 2 weeks with the whales, the humpback whales that migrate from North America down to the Caribbean in an area called the Silverbanks. And we actually get in the water with the whales and have close encounters, sometimes as close as 6 to 7 feet away from a whale. And there are a number of people here. I know Debbie and Patrick is here that have also experienced this. Our group was fortunate enough to have a whale that likes to sleep on her back. And she's the only whale that does that. I actually met this whale in 2003, and she was back again this year, and she had a baby. And it was absolutely magical and amazing to be with her. And at one point, after she turned over from sleeping and she came up, she faced our group with her baby tucked under her pec fin, and the two of them head on, we were about 10 feet, and stared at us for at least a minute. We just sat there and engaged. And it was truly a very, very powerful experience. And I think we're all still processing what happened to us that day and where did we go and what's happening next. So it was truly a wondrous, amazing experience. And there are 5 places available next year, and that will be in the end of March, early April. So if you're interested, please let us know and we'll give you some more information. So I'll turn it over to you, Emmy. Well, I'm so glad you all love that. I love it too. And so, of course, we invite you to find out more about that trip. And then finally, we have another trip this summer in Mount Shasta, and we'll have more details soon, but it will be mid-July. And that will probably be somewhere like 5 days or something like that. Bashar has created guided meditations to help you integrate with nature and experience the wonders of all the information that's being shared by the animals and the plants on our planet that most humans are just not aware of are going on. And so that's going to be another exciting trip. And finally, tonight, Bashar has pre-recorded a guided meditation, and this is a contact meditation. And when we were in the Dominican Republic on the boat, at night, under the stars, we had our first ET contact meditation that Bashar had created. And I think as many of the people that were there can tell you, it was truly a deeply mind-altering experience. And the one that he has created tonight specifically for Sedona, because he's here and he's above us, will knock your socks off. That's all I can tell you, because it is truly amazing, and you will experience a type of contact that you previously may not have ever encountered. So we would love to invite you to join us tonight. It will start at 9 o'clock, and it will be in the labyrinth, which Bashar actually helped Michael create in terms of the dimensions and everything. So we invite you to enjoy the contact meditation tonight also. And I think that's basically everything. I just, again, want to thank everyone for being here and joining us and having this accelerated experience with Bashar. And maybe Daryl will come back and do a little channeling.
Real quickly before I start again.
Questions about dearly departed. So you might want
Oh, questions about dearly departed. For those that don't know, another expression of following on my own excitement, which I guess I had better do so Bashar doesn't beat the crap out of me, is I'm a filmmaker. And recently, I was in the industry for quite a while as in special effects and storyboards and design and sets and things like that. But within the last few years, switched over to writing, producing, directing. And my production company, Zia Films, we recently completed our first feature film with me as writer-director called Dearly Departed. And what it is a fictional documentary that we shot as if we actually took a camera into the spirit world and interviewed the spirits of the dead to get their take on life after death. And so if anyone is interested in seeing that, it is on DVD and available on our website, ziafilms.com. So by all means, please come check that out. I would really appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. And now we're in the process of making a Bashar documentary. So that I think will be very exciting as well. So I think that's it, and we're ready to go, right? Nothing else. And I guess if there were questions left over from last time, Bashar will probably continue with that, and if for some reason we run out of that, we can draw a few more until the holo. We're doing the holotube. Is, there's a holotube, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, once again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And have fun, and I'll see you again at the end. Oh, cell phones off. I'm the only phone turned on here today. say let us continue the transmission in the following way. Well, first of all, since you are all banding about cell phone humor, you may often turn your phones to vibrate. We turn ours to high vibration. Let us continue with interactions of questions and answers.
So those of you that had your names called earlier, would you like to come and take the hot seat?
Not too hot.
You're not going to turn the heat up on us?
Oh, I may.
That's fine, yeah. Good afternoon, Bashar.
And a you good day.
So I'd like to ask a few questions about the cryptics
Yes.
that we heard about earlier today.
All right.
And the first one is, we heard Willa tell us there's 33 of them.
Yes.
Are they all female or is it a mix?
No. It is a mix.
Okay.
And a few of them are neither male or female.
And do they all look similar to how she described herself looking?
No. It will also depend on many things. Depend upon the mix of genetics. It will also depend upon exactly which form they may vibrationally gravitate to in terms of how they present themselves in physical reality. Because as she described, it is similar to the idea of not only shifting through parallel realities to create the experience of physical space-time, but they have the ability, or the effect would appear as if they can also shift parallel realities through themselves, changing their form, changing their shape, and thus then many of them may actually choose to have shapes that look nothing like you as their, shall we say in your terms, default position.
Okay, great. So could you describe at least one more of the 33 cryptics, one of their default shapes, since hers was so interesting?
The default shape of her mentor, Holly Cotton, is with long white hair, very straight, down the back. The skin, in that sense, you would say, again, maybe shifting gently over time from light to dark to medium to light to back to dark to medium, shifting over time in a variety of ways with subtle other colors mixed in the sheen of the skin. The eyes mostly are always for her what you would call very, very, very light crystal blue, though from time to time they can alter for a variety of reasons. She is relatively slender. She is, in that sense, as you would recognize it, more similar to our kind in the sense of being a hybrid being, although, when she wishes to, she can appear as a white crow, a white raven. Will that do?
Yeah, that's great.
All right.
So they're not able to just shift to anything they want, like she couldn't be a bear and a fish?
Well, again, they can,
Okay.
but it will depend upon the relevance. Now, understand that when they shift into those shapes, they are not actually the same thing as being a bear. It is simply the idea that they can manipulate that energy in such a way, that appearance in such a way, as to appear that way. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
This, in some sense, was learned and is not identical to, but similar to, one of the things that has been reported in many encounters on your planet where certain beings make you think that you are seeing something other than what they are, and what you call screen memories. So it is a similar talent, a similar skill, but not created in the same way. But it is in some way, shape, or form vibrationally connected to that ability. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
So taking Willa, where does she...
Taking her where?
Just like thinking about Willa,
Yes.
back to Willa, does she have a certain place on the planet that she
Yes.
is usually based in?
Ireland.
In Ireland, okay.
Yes.
Are there any of the 33 that are from this area?
Yes.
What is that being like?
Rusty.
Awesome.
Often takes on the actual coloration of the red rocks, and you cannot see that the being is there. Therefore, the nickname is Rusty. Similar to the idea that many of them not only have their own names, but also have what you call in your language nicknames. Willa's nickname, because of her physiology, is Two Hearts. She actually has a double-chambered heart. So when she loves you, she really loves you.
Sounds great.
One moment.
Oh, sorry.
One moment. The individual in your general location, in that time frame, the one we have referred to as Rusty, is actually named Sage Primrose. You understand?
Yeah.
All right. You will find that many, as we have said, of the hybrids, when they appear on your planet, will take nature names for first and last names, quite often vegetation names. This is why we have said that even though Willa Hillikrissing is her name now, as these names have evolved in their language, if she had been born in an earlier time, it would have been Willow Hillikrissum. But it has evolved into Willa Hillikrissing. Although holly cotton is holly cotton, sage primrose is sage primrose. No change has happened in those particular dialects. Does this help you?
Yeah.
All right.
And there's 33 on the planet in 700 years in Willa's now, right? That's what
Yes.
she told us. So,
In what she would call her sideline,
so
your upline.
yeah. So I was wondering how they were created. Did they come out of the hybrid, blending of hybrid race with humans, or were they just...
They are a mix of several different kinds of things, the base of which, the foundation of which, are the hybrid children that will ultimately appear on your planet, but there are several other things that have been genetically added. We are not allowed to discuss what that is. Not yet. All right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I have one last question. So my friend Bridget has a wonderful little hybrid son named Neo.
For
And-
now.
Yeah, for now. And I feel a really strong connection to that guy. So I was wondering, have I given some genetic information to him at all?
Not so much literal, physical, but vibrational, energetic genetic information, patterns and templates, yes.
So how does that affect him?
It allows certain alterations to be made in the physical genetic material by taking cues from the energetic template patterns that you have provided in your energy field. Many people do this and provide energetic template patterns to the hybrid children program as well, rather than literal genetic material physically.
Okay. And what qualities came from me
That,
to him?
you said, was the last question.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, Bashar.
And you, good day.
Yay! I'm excited.
Oh, all right, thank you.
So I would like to explore Willa's pin chart a bit more.
All right.
In seeing it, to me, it kind of. Well, I mean, I'd like you to explain more about it. But when I look at it,
There is no more to explain right now.
Okay.
And generally speaking, when there is more to give, she will give it.
Okay.
But what do you want clarification on at this moment?
It feels like I perceive a lot of different parallel incarnations
Yes.
from all different areas, extraterrestrial and stuff.
Then you can make your own pin chart, can't you?
Right. Is there anything more to it than that at this
Of
time?
course there is, but you can start with what you have been given.
Perfect.
Since what you have been given at the beginning of things is always a good place to start.
Beautiful. Thanks.
Thank you.
So I've been experiencing a lot of parallel reality
Yes.
shifting by going to these different areas on Earth. I mean, the call to adventure has led me to Maui, to England, then to Shasta, then to Los Angeles, and it's like boom, 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 shifting as
Yes.
my physicality, or who I am is also determined by my
Yes,
physical
all right.
location.
Well, thank you for following your shifts.
Thanks. So it's been really fun experiencing
Yes.
those.
One would assume so.
Right. When I'm in these different vortexes or chakra points, vortices or chakra points, it feels like I have greater access to the other ones. Like I feel when I'm in Shasta, I can feel Maui. And when
Yes,
I'm
in
here,
a sense, they are linked along certain energetic lines. You all know this already.
Right. So that's interesting.
Yes, it is. We have recently, and it has been presented to you in this way,
Yeah.
talked about the idea and presented to you the idea that the Sedona vortex is strongly connected to the upheaval dome in Utah, yes?
Where's that?
Utah.
No,
It is in southern Utah at the northern end of what you call Canyonlands.
Thank you. I'm from Utah, so
It is a unique impact crater on your planet. There is no other like it. Explore Upheaval Dome and you will see what we mean.
thank you for that.
Yes.
I have a question about England and it being a part of the New World Network that I'm co-creating.
Yes.
And would Glastonbury be the general location for that?
I don't
location?
know, would it?
It feels so.
Well, then I guess it is.
Perfect. Thanks.
It's up to you to decide that, is it not? Using your own vibrational compass?
It is, and that's what feels right.
Then why are you asking us?
I just was confirming that with you.
How does what I have to say confirm anything? If you have decided that that is what is true for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you.
So when I was at the cetacean workshop, the gatekeeper that came to me
Yes.
was kind of a elven-looking guy with wings, and it came up at lunch break that
Yes.
it might have something to do with the 33, or
Not directly, except indirectly, in that one of the symptoms, as we have said, of accelerating your vibration and being more capable of peering into parallel realities and other dimensions is that you may also begin to see what is all around you all the time, that you have called nature beings, nature spirits, but now they become a little bit more visible to you. Yes?
Yes. And then I don't know if she'll be called later, so I'm going to ask for right before Willa came through on December 22nd. I channeled through Laura Geiger's hybrid daughter, who was named Willow, and we're wondering about the connection between Willow, the freelancer to come, and Willa.
Well, you can keep on wondering. Wondering about Willa.
Yes. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello, my friend.
And you good day.
I feel like this is an appointment that I made,
Yes, of course. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening.
and I have a couple questions.
Yes.
The first one is, do you have any messages for me?
Nope.
Okay. The second one,
Unless I'm lying. But we won't know that for a while until this conversation unfolds a little bit further.
okay. So the second question I have is my people that talk to me.
Yes.
I can't hear them.
But you can feel them.
I can feel them.
Is that not enough?
Yes, that's fine. All of it's great. I love all of it. My question that I have to ask you is,
Yes.
they're constantly talking to me,
Yes.
and I can't always hear them.
You
And
said that already.
And it's not that I don't want to hear everything that, I do want to hear everything that they're saying.
No, you don't. Trust me. No, you don't.
Okay, okay,
And I don't mean that in a negative context.
okay.
The idea is you hear what you need to hear. What you don't need to hear, you will not hear.
I understand that.
Because extraneous information that's not relevant for the moment you are at in your life is simply not perceived or not provided.
Why are they talking to me then? Why do they continue?
Information is always being radiated and beamed and sent. You, as antennas, pick up on what you need. You can sense that the transmission is always ongoing, but you don't always have to be paying attention. And if you stop needing to know everything that's being said, then it will take its place and balance itself out, and you will simply know what you need to know when you need to know it. You will hear what you need to hear when you need to hear it, and the rest of it will go away.
I understand that.
All right.
I just thought that maybe something might be wrong with my hearing and maybe
What?
or my knowing that I didn't get.
I didn't hear that.
Okay. I totally understand exactly what you had just said to me because I'm not.
Yes.
I get it.
All right. Then there's nothing wrong, is there?
Good. Thank you.
Do you trust your life?
Yes, I do.
Well, then there's nothing wrong.
Yes.
Do you hear that?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
And to you, good day.
thank you.
Speak up, and be bold.
Sure.
Sure.
Well, I wanted to.
Yes.
I have this word that keeps on coming.
What word is that?
Kundalini.
Yes. What about it?
Well,
You understand what that is, yes?
I believe so.
Oh, all right. Do you know so?
I think so.
I think so. I believe so. All right.
I mean, I.
Well, what about it? What about it?
I
The
believe
word
it's,
keeps coming. Do you do anything about it?
yes, actually.
All right. And so then, what do you need to discuss about this? Is it working for you as a tool? As a permission slip?
Yes.
All right. Then what needs to be discussed?
I guess it's power for human consciousness.
Power.
Yes.
Yes. And what does that mean to you?
Well, you know, when we listen to someone like you or other teachings,
Yes.
we really open ourselves and we're like, oh my God, yes, yes, I want that. You know, I want that.
All right. So the question is, why don't you do that all the time?
Exactly.
Thank you. Do you have a good answer for that?
Well, Kundalini has been one of the gateway.
All right. And so.
And I wanted to know, as you in
Yes.
your dimension,
Yes.
what is, how do you perceive Kundalini in the human form?
Very well, thank you. We perceive it as high vibratory energy linking and balancing all the energy points of our system
Wonderful.
and connecting us directly to the vibrational alignment with Source.
Wonderful.
How do you experience it in your dimension?
Here you go. Well, in my personal experience,
Yes.
I have been under control over my Kundalini.
Control?
Yes. We talk about mind control, and I do believe I allowed it to be this way in my life so I could sense and feel my power as a creator, as a
All
co-creator.
right. All right.
Okay.
And
And the way it was channeled, I would say, or presented was in a way blocked. The energy of the
what
Kundalini.
does that mean? The way it was presented
Yes.
was blocked. If it was
Yes.
blocked, how do you know it was presented?
Well, no, it's like there was part of information that were not talked about,
So,
like the sexuality part.
yes, well, but you can investigate and discover that on your own, can't you?
I guess
Oh,
I
you
just
have been, have you?
Oh my God. And I encourage it actually. Because it has
Yes.
so Bashar.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, I do.
what I'm trying to say is that, you know, there is those teachings and we understand them, but we're human. We want to feel, we want to live, you know, we want.
Excuse me.
Yes.
What you are all becoming is fully human. What you think of as being human is not.
Well, okay. Can you explain a little more?
Many of you say, I'm only human, but no, you're not yet. The things, the restrictions, the constrictions that you put on yourselves, the resistances you have to your own true vibration makes you less than fully human, expressionally. So, what you are learning by absorbing all these ideas and allowing yourself to feel the flow of these natural energies through you is your way for now of using that to allow yourself to become more fully human. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Are you willing to continue with exploring the idea of joy and excitement and pleasure in an integral way, in a balanced way that you know will always be expressed in a positive manner to the best of all concerned?
Yes, Bashar.
Then there is absolutely nothing you need to worry about.
Thank you.
Do you think that that is true for you?
Totally.
Do you believe that that is true for you?
I would say, can I add something? Maybe it will help.
By
others
all
too.
means, call upon your imaginational link to your higher mind and embellish what we have given you.
So, okay, being human. So we you know, there is more to that. Wonderful.
Yes.
But I am human now, and
In a variety of ways, yes.
right. And so I have to start from that point.
In a sense, yes, you have chosen to. Yes, and so.
And I believe there's a beauty in being human here on this earth, you know,
All right.
Gaia.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Yes, and,
I'm getting
not
there.
but, and,
And
yes.
how have been a little bit challenged by how one take care of oneself, you know, self-love and
Yes, well,
compassion
congratulations on the challenge.
and nurturing,
Yes.
right?
Remember, the challenges that arise in your lives are the themes you chose to
I
explore.
do, yeah. And it's wonderful.
It
I'm
is.
grateful.
It is. You are full of wonder, full of greatness, grateful.
So no but and how can one not hurt? That's been something that just
Not hurt yourself or not hurt others?
well, I would say others.
Is that the question? When you say, how can one not hurt, are you speaking about others?
I
All
am. I mean, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, are you doing something intentionally to hurt them?
No.
Then how can you hurt them? They can still choose to be hurt, you know. They can choose to hurt themselves relative to what it is you are choosing to do. And it's not like you can't make, in a sense, a mistake. And you can use other people's guidance and advice to say, well, you seem to be acting a little bit out of your integrity here. You might want to take a look at that. But it's up to you to decide whether that's actually true or not. If you're willing to explore the possibility that it might be, then in a sense, you're not out of integrity. And there is no worry about intentionally hurting anyone else. If you, in that sense, unintentionally do something that is out of integrity, you can say, all right, well, that wasn't my intention. I apologize. And now I have learned that by doing what it is I don't prefer to do, I now know more clearly what it is I do prefer to do. So thank you. And thus then, if you're not doing it intentionally, then in that sense, you are not responsible for what another person chooses to feel relative to you being true to yourself. Because you can only be responsible to people. You can't be responsible for other people. You can only be responsible for yourself.
I understand, believe me, but
Oh, believe
and,
you.
and as a human, it is challenging to see
Yes.
others suffer.
But do you not understand that sometimes the idea is that they have chosen this for their own challenge? I'm not justifying that they have to, but many times people will experience what you call suffering because they are resisting their natural selves, and sometimes they actually choose that for a very, very positive reason. It is not up to you to decide necessarily the purpose behind what they have chosen. However, the way to help them best, if they have experienced the suffering out of resistance to the natural self as opposed to a true conscious choice or even an unconscious choice that actually serves a positive purpose, is to simply be the best possible example you can be of choosing a life of joy and excitement, and then you give them at least the opportunity by seeing through you the example of what they could also choose for themselves. But if they choose not to go that way, you must allow them their choice. Because if you don't allow them the freedom to choose, even suffering, why should you be allowed to choose what you prefer?
Yes.
Do you understand how this works?
I do. Well, thank you so much.
Our unconditional love to you.
Hello, Tadeo.
And to you, good day, Nania.
We have a question from our Ustream viewers,
Oh, all right.
and that question is, what happens to the frames in the film strip that are not perceived?
They are perceived by other aspects of consciousness, even if they are not perceived by your perspective. All things exist and they never go away. Thus then, someone, somewhere, is perceiving them. Remember, as we have said, you cannot imagine non-existence. So anything you can imagine is somewhere, in some context, a real reality of some type. Thus, all the frames are being experienced by all that is and all the perspectives of all that is, even though some of the individual perspectives may only experience a few frames. Does that make sense?
Yes, and kind of generates the question of, since we have a wide range of film frames
Yes.
to view,
Yes.
and it's our conscious choice that determines,
Or your unconscious one.
or your unconscious ones, that determine what you project your consciousness through.
Yes.
What is the sort of the guiding determiner of what frames you decide to perceive?
Your true highest vibration. That's why we say act on your highest excitement, because that is in alignment with your true signature frequency and determines the frames you could be experiencing that are in alignment with that. If, however, you're experiencing frames that are out of alignment with that, then obviously what is determining that are belief systems that are out of alignment with your true frequency.
And sometimes it's probably just an exploration to determine whether or not the frames that you're projecting your consciousness through are truly aligned.
Yes.
Or not.
Yes.
And so
In
you
that
always-
sense, you could say the paradox is that sometimes frames that seem out of alignment are actually in alignment if they are in alignment with the thing and the theme that you chose to explore about being out of alignment.
So it's almost like it's a lucid dream.
It is a lucid dream. Well, more lucid for some than others. Does that help?
Yes, that's really interesting, actually.
Was there another question that you had?
There is. There's a question from Michael and Amira, the
Yes.
individuals that have been gracious enough to bring Angel Valley to us and bring Bashar here.
Yes.
And they had a very unusual thing happen where...
An exciting thing.
And yes, very exciting.
Gone with the wind.
I don't know if they mentioned it to the group before we got here, but we were originally going to have this gathering in the big tent that they
Yes.
had below.
Yes.
And then on Monday, a huge windstorm came through and just seemed to target the tent and
Yes.
found a weak spot on it, knocked it down, and now we're here.
Yes.
So they were questioning, or
Any weak spots will destroy the entire structure. See the analogies?
All too clear.
So, integrity on all levels, impeccability on all levels is necessary to move forward. But I will also share with you perhaps a little bit more humorous, but no less educational reason. Things were getting just a little too intense. Thank you.
What? Well, hello everyone. Hi. I'm April from Bashar Communications, and Daryl and I are just so excited to be here at this very special place, Angel Valley, with Bashar up above. And we're just so thrilled to see so many people here. I know we're kind of tightly packed in here, and it's just amazing. It's just amplifying the energy tremendously. So thank you all so much for coming. I hope that you enjoyed the presentation and getting to know our parallel reality specialist, Willa, in the last hour. And I'm sure that there will be more coming after Bashar comes through. He'll be sharing perhaps some more information, and then we'll also be opening this for questions and interactions with Bashar. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and start now. And again, I just want to thank everyone for being here and joining in this amazing celebration of our new galactic world that we are creating as we speak. And I'd also like to thank Daryl and Bashar for doing a wonderful job of being a fantastic channel and channeler.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for paving the way for the day when ET contact, open contact will be a reality. Thank you, Daryl and Bashar.
Thanks, April. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for being here today and having us here today. Did you all enjoy Willa's introduction? Good. We, yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to get right into it to give you the maximum amount of time to let Bashar say what he needs to say and give you time to interact with him. So have fun, and I'll see you later. Sick a day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right, thank you. First of all, once again, we will take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you individually and all of you together collectively for the co-creation of this interaction, the allowance of this transmission this day of your time. Once again, each and every time you allow for the co-creation of such an interaction, you allow us the gift, the experience of the multifaceted, multidimensional crystal of creation and the individual facets that each and every one of you happen to be. So we thank you for that gift. Let us begin by continuing some of the thoughts that were imparted to you by Willa Hillikrissing, the being that is the parallel reality specialist approximately 700 of your years in your future. All things being relative, and again, we have explained many times, of course, as Willa has also done, that all these things coexist simultaneously. But for the sake of convenience in your language, we will talk about the concept of future and past, as long as you understand that there are no such things. So we're really talking about nothing. Thus then, moving on from there, the idea of why perhaps it is important for you to begin to understand and have a little bit more information with respect to the concept of parallel realities, first and foremost, is this. You're already using them all the time, so you might as well become aware of the fact that you're using them in whatever way will allow you to enhance the methodology and the application and the effect of that usage of parallel realities in your daily lives, to expand you, to allow you to experience more of the vibration of who you are, to allow you to experience more of your joy, more of your passion, more of your love, more of your creativity. The idea, as we have explained it, in the way you are already using parallel realities every single day, every moment of the day, many times a day, is the experience itself that you call time. Very briefly recapping, the idea itself, the experience of time itself, is created by your consciousness shifting from one parallel reality to another billions of times per second, creating the illusion of movement, change, space, time. Each parallel reality is in and of itself a frozen single snapshot. This is a parallel reality. This is a parallel reality. This. Similar to the frames on your film strip, each parallel reality is simply a frozen frame. There is no time, they are timeless. No movement, no change whatsoever, just as there is not in any single frame of film. But as you move the film through the projector and project the image on the screen, then the idea is that you create the illusion of movement, the illusion of change, the illusion of space, the illusion of time. Again, hearkening back to the understanding that, of course, all the frames exist at once, even though you may view them one at a time, one after the other. Both, in that sense, coexist, but one, the idea that all the frames exist at once, is a description of the nature of the structure of existence, and the experience of the motion picture is the effect, the illusion, the side effect that you create by relating to those individual frames in a particular way from different perspectives. So physical reality experience is very similar. You, as a consciousness, are like the projector light. You project your consciousness through all the different individual frames that we call parallel realities, and you do it in a manner that creates your sense of time, space, continuity, and order, and progression, and expansion. And the idea thus then is you create that effect by shifting your consciousness through all the different versions, all the billions and billions of versions per second of yourself, variations of yourself in different realities, different earths, that stack up and create a parallel reality sequence. And in that sequence, you create the experience that you have as a physical being and relay that experience back, if you will, through the higher mind to the soul, the spirit that you are. But the idea is that your physical mind, your physical ego structure, your physical consciousness, in that sense, is like the projector. And the light is the light of your spirit, the light of your being, the light of your energy, the light of your consciousness, flickering through those frames, as we said, billions of times a second to create this illusion, this side effect of time. So you're using this constantly. You are very intimately familiar with how to use parallel realities to create this effect you call space-time. You do it so automatically you don't even know you're doing it. So smoothly, you don't even pay attention to it. It's on automatic for you so that you can pay attention to the experience that you're creating in this manner. But the idea now is that you can become a little bit more aware of the fact that you're doing that. And by becoming a little bit more aware that that's how the structure works, that's how the structure exists, you can expand your experience of exactly how you create the concept of your space-time movie, your space-time illusion, your space-time side effect. By, thus then, even the subtlest of alterations, you can create many different kinds of effects, and many of you are beginning to experience some of these side effects from the alteration of how your consciousness relates to the shifting that you're doing through all these billions of parallel reality frames. One of the most obvious side effects that you are creating, one of the most obvious alterations that you are creating is an increase in what you call synchronicity. Anybody notice that? All right. Because you're changing, in a sense, the frame rate, or more precisely, you're changing your experience, your perception of the frame rate. The frame rate actually never changes, but you can change your perception of it so that you're paying attention to different frame rates in a different way. The idea thus then is that you created slightly different effects, slightly different side effect in your physical reality experience. Another side effect is your ability to start perceiving other realities, other dimensions. Start seeing what was heretofore invisible, because as the frame rate changes, your perception changes. And as your perception changes, your senses change. And as your senses change, you're able to pick up different things that you might have heretofore thought were, well, so to speak, in between the frames you thought were real, and now you're realizing that more frames and different frames can be real. Because everything exists at once. All realities overlap at once. All parallel existences, all dimensions exist here and now at once. What you perceive is simply a result of what vibratory frequency you're on. Frequency being another way of saying how you experience the frame rates. So the idea is that as you experience more synchronicity, as you experience and perceive more dimensions of reality, other consciousnesses, other beings who are now capable of being perceived by you, these are all part and parcel of the expansion of your consciousness and the inclusion in your consciousness of your awareness that that's how the structure exists, that you're using parallel realities to create this experience you call the physical world. Now, it doesn't mean that as you live your life, you have to constantly be aware of every single parallel reality every single moment. That's not what we mean by becoming more aware of them. You don't necessarily have to allow that to go off automatic, but what you can experience is a greater side effect, a different side effect, just by knowing that that's what you're doing. You can still let it run on automatic. It's just now that you will know it's running on automatic in a way that is more representative of the expanded view that you now have of the structure. Does that make sense? We can, if there is any confusion about this, clarify this in the upcoming question and answer exchanges if you wish. But for now, we're simply laying down this foundation so you can begin to truly understand why we are bringing these conversations about parallel realities into focus at this time. And there's another reason. The idea is that one of the things that helps this alteration of your ability to perceive these frame rates in a different way is the very discussion, the very awareness of the existence of parallel realities. By bringing in this focus, it actually begins, as you think about this concept, it actually begins to rewire your brain and your neurology, literally, physically. Because you are, in a sense, choosing to look at something that by its very nature is paradimensional. And thus then, when you begin to examine these kinds of multidimensional, paradimensional concepts, your brain has to rewire, reconfigure itself to allow you to process that kind of vibration, that kind of information. So bringing in these subjects at this timing will allow you to actually know that you are, in that sense, choosing to allow yourselves to be rewired. You are rewiring yourselves to make yourselves better receivers, better antennas for frequencies of energies that may have heretofore been invisible to you, which will now start to become more visible, more solid. Please remember the caveat of manifestation that we have shared with all of you. Manifestation
of things into your reality is not the manifestation of something from somewhere else coming into your reality. Manifestation is the result of simply changing your frequency to the degree where you can simply start to perceive what has already been here but was heretofore invisible to you. Because everything is here and now. Every experience you could ever have, every thought you could ever have, every object you could ever experience in your reality is all right here, right now with you. All in your energy, all in the codex of your theme of exploration in this life. It's all there holographically. But you only see what you are on the same vibratory level of. So manifestation is simply changing your vibration to make visible what is already here, but was heretofore invisible. Does that make sense? So don't think of it, don't define manifestation as having to attract something from somewhere else, so far away you don't know where it's coming from. It's all right here. You have it all. You have it all, you just don't know it yet. That's all. That's the difference. Now, remember also, and we would like to add this, as a boost to the concept of the manifestation idea and your experience of parallel realities, and we have said this before, but we now understand it is important to say at this timing, the whole concept of this law of attraction, again, let us remind you that there is an underlying perspective that many of you are not quite getting about how the law of attraction actually functions. So let us just briefly share this with you at this time so you have a truly full understanding of this mechanism, of this concept. The way that many of you are talking about it isn't wrong, because you talk about the idea of, yes, you have to be of a certain vibratory level in order to attract a certain thing that is commensurate with that vibration. Yes, that's true, and we have said so ourselves. But the idea, more precisely, is this. You are already a signature vibration. It's who you are. It's your identity. You give that vibration off, the vibration of your true self, all the time. You can't help yourself. You just leak it and radiate it outward all the time. That's who you are. You're giving that frequency, that signature frequency off constantly. All the things that are representative of that frequency are doing their best to get to you, to manifest for you. If they don't, it's not because you're not attracting them, it's because you're keeping them away. That's the difference. And all the things that are not compatible with your vibration, in that sense, they are doing their best to attempt to get away from you, as far away from you as they possibly can. If they are not leaving your reality, it's not because that you are, in that sense, doing something wrong, per se. It's just that you're not letting them go. So the idea is not so much that you have to learn to attract. The idea is that you simply have to let go of the things that are attempting to get away from you and just let in the things that are attempting to get to you. That's actually the core of how the law of attraction works. You're already on the vibratory frequency at your core. That is the frequency that attracts all the things that are relevant for your life, for you as a joyful person, for you as a loving, creative, loved person. You just need to let go of the things that are not compatible with that signature frequency. That's really all you have to do. Does that make sense? Yes. Doesn't that sound easier than having to learn to attract? No one in your reality needs to learn to attract. No one in your reality needs to learn how to be abundant. No one in your reality needs to learn confidence. No one in your reality needs to learn to trust. You already trust 100% of the time in something to be true. The question is not, do you have to learn to trust? The trust is what you are trusting in. The idea is that you never, ever, ever lack confidence, and you never, ever, ever lack abundance. It's that you can have confidence in lack and an abundance of lack. But you are still abundant. So again, the question and the issue is not having to learn to be abundant, having to choose what you prefer to be abundant or confident in. Because you're always abundant, you're always confident, you're always trusting.
You can't help it. It's your nature. It's how you were built as a co-creator. So, let go of the idea that you're not doing what you need to do in that sense. It's not like you have to learn anything about the mechanism itself. You just need to awaken to the idea of how to use the mechanism in the way that's most aligned with your true self. That's all you need to learn. Does that make sense? Are you sure? Yes. Thank you. Wanted to make sure the rest of you weren't asleep. The idea now that we will also finish up with here before we begin with the interactions of questions and answers will be, one of the reasons why, aside from just the parallel reality information, we are now also facilitating the introduction to your society of Willa. Heretofore, we have talked about the idea, and this connects very strongly with the whole concept of where you are actually physically on your planet right now, in the Sedona vortex. Our ship is above you, 1,936 miles, directly above you right now. As we help adjust and align the energy of this vortex and allow that energy to go out and link to other vortices surrounding this vortex throughout the many states that surround the state you're in, we have talked about the idea of the trinary connection that exists between Earth, our world, and the Sirius star system. In creating this triangle, this has created a certain stability, a certain foundation of a relationship with us, with you, with Sirius. But now it is time to add another dimension. And that is why we have brought Willa to the forefront at this time. Because it is an extension, again, nothing is absolutely linear, and it is a real parallel reality, and it coexists simultaneously with yours, but again, just colloquially, Willa is in your future, 700 years in your future, and the idea of focusing on her, bringing her in, does this. For imagine now, if you will, we will, as you say, use the channel's hand to draw this in the air. Here is the triangle, Earth, this dot, us, this dot, Sirius, this dot. So here's that triangle, yes? Have you all got that? Yes. Now, here is Earth, yes? By introducing Willa, we now take the tip of this triangle, you stay right here, but we take the tip and we stretch it out to another point in the timeline. What happens? Your dot now stays in the center of an equilateral triangle. It is no longer at the tip, it is now in the center. And by being in the center and looking down upon this and connecting lines from every point on the triangle to the center point that now represents you, while the outer points represent us and Sirius and your future reality represented by Willa, you can recognize that while looking at this diagram flat, as you say, two-dimensionally, in that sense, yes, it's an equilateral triangle with a center point with lines drawn to it from the tips. But if you understand it multidimensionally, what is it? It's a tetrahedral pyramid, yes. So now, by drawing that up, you now have the 4 points that represent the tetrahedral structure that is the underlying structure of all physical reality. It is the building block of your physical reality experience, vibrationally and energetically speaking. So now we have, by allowing Willa to come in to this structure, to this energy template, this matrix, we have now added another dimension that will again allow you to experience more vibrations that are more representative of more dimensions and allow you to rewire yourself on a different level in a different way. And now by looking at it rather than as a flat triangle but as a pyramid pointing upward, it now also and specifically in the vortex you are in points upward to us literally, physically above you in our ship. So this forms now an extremely stable relationship of energy, an extremely stable flow of energy, an extremely magnified and amplified ability for contact to begin to occur more and more and more solidly. And all of you now in this interaction, to whatever degree you are comfortable, to whatever pace you are willing, are now rewiring yourselves to take advantage of that tetrahedral space-time antenna and siphon off the energy from that antenna to serve your needs, to be expressed and applied in your physical realities through creativity and imagination and relationship with the higher mind, in whatever way, shape, or form you so desire. And by doing so, amplify and magnify the energy on your entire world that increases the relevance and probability of open contact. So we thank you, every one of you, for being these wonderful little tetrahedral antennas. So, I'll let you absorb that for a moment. And as you absorb, let us explore together these concepts, if you wish, related concepts, if you wish, whatever you deem to be the most important concepts for your expansion and your understanding. We ask in what way may we now be of service to you through the interactions of questions and answers.
Thank you, Bashar.
Good day to you.
Good day.
Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share.
Okay, my name is Lori, and I am a regression therapist.
Oh, all right.
And
is that fun for you?
It is so much fun.
Oh,
I just
thank you.
love it. And
Thank
so
you.
this is so relevant for me.
Yes.
When I'm working with people and I want to help them help themselves now based on things that or in the past life, which obviously are in the parallel life,
Yes.
and the future life, I want to know really how to bring more peace to themselves. You know, I mean, it's not just, it's the personal, and it's what's happening in 2013 with war and judgment and hatred. And
Yes.
how do we get
Well, you
past
can begin
this?
many ways. First of all, of course, the very concept itself, if absorbed by the person, that all these lives are simultaneously coexistent, can automatically, if you truly understand that, if a person truly understands that structure, that relationship of everything being here and now, existing simultaneously, that immediately negates the idea that there can actually be a cause coming from the past. Do you understand? Yes. All the things you call causes coming from the past, karma, whatever you want to call it, is completely self-imposed and completely created from the present. The idea is you make cross connections, energetic connections and links to other simultaneously existing parallel incarnations, as was explained by Willa on her pin charts, you remember?
Yes.
And thus, by making those cross connections from the present, you are connecting to other life experiences that you have deemed, based on the theme you wish to explore, to be necessary connections to allow you to explore the energy, the downloads, the experiences that they have to give you. It's just that you interpret from your space-time perspective, you interpret those cross connections to parallel realities that you call the past, you interpret them as memories. But that's created from the present. The present, and here's another principle that if people can wrap their minds around, will completely shatter your understanding of space-time reality. The present creates the past, not the other way around.
Then does the future create the present?
No.
See, I am confused.
Thank you. The future creates the present when the future becomes your present. But while this present is your present, it's also creating what you call the future. Because you're looking at it as downline in the past, upline in the future, from the present. But when you arrive in the future, isn't it always now?
Yes.
So it's just that you are allowing what you now call the future to finally simply become your present. To accept it, that it does exist as a present reality, and to actually experience it as a present reality. So what you're actually doing in that sense is you're still creating that future from the present, but the way you do it is by turning the future into your present. Did that make sense?
So,
But the idea, let us finish, the idea is that you can actually do the same thing with the past. Since you're creating the past from the present, you can actually use the present to alter the past. Because if you truly understand that you are shifting through parallel realities, billions of parallel realities every second, then what that also tells you is that billions of times per second, you are actually expressing your consciousness through the eyes of literally a different version of you, which is literally a different person, isn't it?
yes.
So if it's literally a different person, then that person doesn't have the same history. Doesn't have to have the same history. You can make that present person seem to have a similar history or not, but that's actually up to you. Whatever you define yourself to be now is what determines the person you are now and determines what so-called experience of future and past that person has. So this is why we have talked before about this concept called the 13th step, taking a cue off of what you call your 12-step programs. This usually on your planet applies to all forms of what you call addiction, and how to allow yourself to let go, so to speak, of that addictive behavior. Now, we are in no way, shape, or form saying that people have to stop doing those 12-step programs if that's the permission slip that works for them. All we are saying is you can also, at some point, when you're truly ready to understand this, add a 13th step. And the 13th step is actually this, that when you truly, truly know, not believe, not think, when you truly know you are a different person, and truly thus then know that as a different person, there is a different history, that doesn't mean that you have let go of the addiction. It means you never had it. And that's why there's no urge in the person that you are now, not because you've transformed it and are dealing with it. It's because the person you are now knows they simply never had it. It's simply not a consideration. It simply doesn't exist in their mindset and never has. Make sense?
100%.
Does this help you?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And a you good day.
My name is Leano. I had a couple quick questions for you.
All right.
First, I would like to ask, what would you say to people who look to the stars with the energy of, come and get me, come and take me away?
We say, what's wrong with your planet? You chose to be there. We're not going to take you away from the path you chose. Now, certainly there will come a day when such interactions will occur, but they must occur by you meeting us halfway. We can't take you away. You have to come halfway, in a sense, energetically, in your belief systems, in your understandings, in your behavior. But the idea really, again, is that any such encounters on many different levels have already been arranged. These appointments have already been made. The only way to miss those appointments is to spend time worrying that you will miss those appointments. But if you simply live your life and trust the path you chose and trust that it will contain whatever is representative of your highest excitement, then you will simply keep those appointments. And if you have decided that such an encounter is relevant to the theme you chose to explore, then there will be absolutely nothing that will prevent such an encounter from happening. Except, as I said, wondering and spending time and worrying if such an encounter will ever happen. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
That is what we would say. Oh, we did say it.
You said it. All right, my next question is, Bashar is a consciousness, right?
I
it-
am,
okay.
just as you
Bashar
are.
okay.
I do
So-
have a type of physicality.
Okay. Oh, that's another question. I'll ask that later.
I am what you would represent as a physical extraterrestrial hybrid being. Now, in our evolutionary progress, as you say, we are coming closer and closer and closer to being non-physical, which is one of the reasons why we are at a point where we can do what we do, such as channeling through one of my past incarnations, the channel sitting before you. In that sense, you could say I am the channel's future self, colloquially speaking. And since we are now at a point where we can behave very malleably, very flexibly in space and time, and since I know that all things coexist simultaneously, then for me there is no separation between myself in the present and my so-called past self, which is just another present version of me. So the idea is that we do still have a physicality. You would perceive us as about 5 feet tall, relatively slender, whitish gray skin coloration. There are males, there are females. The males usually have no hair. The females do. It tends to be white, though there are exceptions to that. Our eyes are slightly larger than yours. Our noses, our mouths, our ears are a little bit smaller. Our heads are a little bit larger than yours. But you would perceive us as physical.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Kind of. I'll jump into one of the other
All right.
questions. In relation to the physical existence that you have on your planet, what are a
Yes.
couple examples of your highest joy?
I'm doing it right now. I also explore the idea of other worlds. I'm a first contact specialist. I make contact for the first time with other civilizations. These are my joys. There are other joys. But right now, this is my highest joy because this is what I'm doing. If it wasn't my highest joy, I wouldn't be doing it. That's your first clue.
What's your perspective on ascended masters and archangels in relation to our...
My perspective on them is something like this.
Touche.
And sometimes like this. And sometimes like this. Sometimes like this. Sometimes like that. Basically,
Thank you.
the idea of what you typically on your planet refer to as an angelic energy. We can euphemistically say, now of course this is in a sense a symbol, but we can euphemistically say that they are the next step down from all that is. The first split off from all that is are what you call angelic consciousnesses. Does that make sense, first of all?
Not yet.
All right. You understand the concept of all that is?
Yes.
What you typically call God?
Yes.
Well, you understand that everything is made of God, yes?
Yes.
Therefore, everything in a sense is like a step down, taking the frequency and differentiating it and splitting it up into smaller and smaller and smaller pieces? Yes?
Yes.
All right. Well, the angelic realm is the first step down from God. The first reflection of all that is into many reflections. That's what you call the angelic level. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Ascended masters are simply beings who allow themselves to incorporate within their expression of being in any given reality more or most of the totality of the collective consciousness of that reality, and the vibration raises up, and they can sometimes remain in that reality, dispensing information, sharing information, or they can ascend to the point where they completely leave that reality, maybe even leave physical reality altogether. Ascension is just a matter of degree of frequency, in the same way that you could say that steam is the ascended master of ice. Make sense?
Perfect. Thank you. Yes.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Well, thank you.
Next question is...
Last question.
Last question is... I was trying to push it. Christ consciousness.
That's the collective energy of your entire world. Just as Buddha nature is, just as Krishna spirit is, doesn't matter what you call it. It's the collective expression of your world through a single individual. Make sense?
Exact. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
And you good day.
I just want you to know that I've really gained a lot of knowledge, wisdom from all the works that I've seen from you.
Well, thank you for choosing
And
to
his-
add that knowledge to
Well,
yourself.
it has worked for me. I wrote myself a permission slip.
Thank
to,
you.
Have my name pulled out of the hat.
All right.
It seems to have worked pretty well.
Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share.
You have said that your ship is, above us.
Yes.
Balancing the energy of the vortex.
Yes.
So one would have to assume that we are pretty much out of balance if that's necessary.
All you have to do is kind of look around.
Yeah. Exactly my point. What I'd like to ask is, how is that working out?
Well, we'll put it to you this way. Our ship is acting, in a sense, like a barometer. The closer we come to the surface of your planet indicates more integrity, more wholeness, more cohesiveness, yes? So the idea is that when we began to hold that position, we were approximately 2,500 of your miles up. Now we are 1,936.
All right. Well, there's obviously a lot of whacked out energy on this planet at this time, so you might have to land someday to really clean it up.
Oh no. In fact, just the opposite. The idea is that we cannot land until you clean it up a bit.
Okay.
Because the idea is that really our respective realities are completely not vibrationally compatible in their natural state, so to speak. I don't mean natural in the sense of what your true nature is. I mean natural in the sense of what you have created it to be. The idea, therefore, is that since you are not in your natural states, and we are, the vibrations are highly incompatible. You have to allow yourself to become a little bit more cohesive in your natural vibration so that when we encounter each other, our vibrational resonance won't burn you out, won't overwhelm you, won't create psychotic shock by forcing things to the surface of your consciousness that you yourselves have suppressed and say you're not ready to face. This is the cause of many of the fears that come up when people talk about encounters with other beings from other dimensions and other realities. It isn't even necessarily that those beings are doing anything to create fear. It's just that their very presence, coming from a higher dimension, a higher frequency of reality, can force things to the surface of your consciousness that you're not willing to face. And in that sense, what you're experiencing is the fear of yourself, the fear of your own power. Make sense?
Yep.
So we take this process slowly, cautiously, dispensing information to all of you to allow you to decide what to absorb, what to leave behind, and we take our cue from you when you are truly ready. Now, we have an overall sense, as we read your energy now, of the probability window in which open contact may begin to occur, and as we read the energy now, it seems likely that it will occur with a high degree of probability sometime between your years of 2025 and 2033, that open contact will begin in some fashion. We do not exactly know what fashion because you have not yet completely crystallized this resonance on your planet. But that seems the most likely window for that to begin to occur.
Okay, one more question.
Yes.
From up there, you must have noticed all the chemtrails being sprayed all over our globe.
From time to time.
My question is, I'd like to know why. I don't know if it's they think they're doing this with good intention or if they're really just trying to kill us all.
They, in some sense, are under the misguided impression that they need to do certain things in a certain way to balance out the climate of your planet. But the idea is that they're actually putting a lot more poisons in the air because they're not necessarily using the substance that would actually work. Gold.
Atomic gold?
Yes. If they were to use that, it would actually balance out the climate of your planet with absolutely no ill side effects whatsoever. But because you value the idea of the gold in a completely different way, you hoard it in that sense and don't use it in these kinds of circumstances where it would actually be of benefit to your entire global climate pattern. Now, much of what you're experiencing is, in a sense, a natural cycle, although it has been exacerbated by many of the things that the people on your planet have done technologically. But the idea of warming and cooling cycles on your planet are natural and periodic. The idea, however, is that you can balance them out much more smoothly by approaching them with an appropriate form of technology, which you're not doing. So, in a sense, they sort of think they're trying to balance some of these things out. But like many of the things you think improve your life, they're highly toxic. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Now, there are other things connected to this, but we don't go into those. We are staying on the level of the idea of expressing the direct technological connection and effects, and we are not at this point of a mind to deal with any other particular intentions that might be connected to this scenario. All right?
Okay.
Do you wish to remain in the negative world?
No.
Then we will not reinforce that negativity. You see, this is a very interesting paradoxical use of power. The idea is that many people on your planet have a very strong control of information. They have first and foremost used that control of information to make it appear as if they actually control more than they do. So the idea is that when individuals, and again, it doesn't mean that you should not be aware that individuals may have negative intentions, but when many individuals go to the extremes of starting to look into what you call conspiracy theories, and they assign these powers, these abilities to do the things that you're all afraid they can do to these people, you are thus then giving them that ability. So the great, I'll just say it this way, the great joke from those people attempting to give you that impression is that the people that are attempting to be whistleblowers are actually their greatest advertisers. Because they make people believe that they actually have the ability to do more than they do. And that's the joke. So lighten up on yourselves. Don't give them the power, and you will shift your vibration to a parallel reality in which they don't even exist eventually. All right?
That'd be very nice.
That's how you change the world. You don't change the world you're in. You change yourself through your actions, through your knowingness, through your energy, through your behaviors, and you shift yourself to a parallel world that's already more reflective of the world that is representative of the change you've made in yourself. Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Then happy trails to you.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
It's an honor to meet you.
And you as well.
Thank you. Would you talk to us about Jesus?
Yes, I
Because
would.
I have a feeling that he was misunderstood in his day.
Very
and-
much so.
and-
Still misunderstood to
And
this
the
day.
Bible, I'm thinking, isn't an accurate translation of what he was trying to
Not
teach
always,
us
no.
and tell us.
No. Much of what, in that sense, that individual was teaching is very similar to what you are now understanding in what you call your metaphysical age. The idea is that simply people back then couldn't understand it. But to put it in a more fundamental sense, Yeshua, or as you say, Jesus, really did not intend in any way, shape, or form to create followers. Intended to create leaders, equals. Did not intend to create Christians per se, intended to let you all know you are Christ's. That's the greatest misunderstanding of the information. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So much of what you're understanding today is the idea that that individual was teaching. Even down to the concept of how powerfully your beliefs create your reality, yes? Because did not, in that sense, at least to some degree, the Bible quote him as saying, it is your belief, it is your faith that has made the difference? Yes? And did it not also say that when Yeshua even went back to his hometown, because people there only knew him as a carpenter and did not believe in the things that other people said he could do none of those things in his hometown. And the Bible says so very clearly. You understand?
Yes.
It's all about the idea of your belief system. It's all about the idea of what you know to be true. It's all about your actions, all about your alignment. This is all that individual was saying, and that's what he meant when he said, I am the way. He meant, be this way. I'm the example. I'm the way. Be like me. Don't go around telling everyone how to be. Be like me. Make sense?
Yes.
Does this answer your question sufficiently, or is there some other avenue you wish to explore about this?
All right. Well, it's kind of related to, I've had this pain in my neck, shoulder, arm for over a year, and I've been trying to let it go.
All
I
right.
release it, bless
All
it,
right.
let it go, and it's not going.
All right.
So
Well, what
how do I do that?
specifically in your belief system is causing the pain in your neck?
The MRI says I have a bulge disc.
All right. And what are you going to do about that? You do understand that sometimes the idea of physical manipulation can be just as valid a permission slip as any kind of energetic work, yes?
Yes.
It's all about the path of least resistance that works best for you.
And I've tried all kinds of things.
And
nothing's working.
nothing at all.
Sorry. Suggestions?
No, you don't have to be sorry. First of all, when in your time frame did it begin? And what was going on in your life when it did?
Over a year ago.
Yes.
I've got stress in my life. Everybody's got stress in their life.
Oh, really? I don't.
I want to be like you.
Why do you have stress? Why are you stressing yourself out of alignment? Ha-ha. Why?
I'm guessing it was shortly after my daughter moved home again.
And why is that stressful?
We don't get along the greatest sometimes.
Is that because she's too much like you?
In some ways.
All right. What is it about what she reflects to you that you don't like about yourself?
I don't know.
Oh, sure you do. Don't play games.
I don't know. As she was growing up.
All right. Well, what don't you approve of in her?
She's a slob. Her room looks like a tornado hit it.
Really?
Yeah.
And you have never been one?
No, actually, that's not one of my faults. I have plenty, but that's not one of them.
Fault? A fault, is it?
In my mind, I guess it is.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. And since you are now putting that kind of invalidation and judgment on it, since you have never been one and can't possibly imagine how it would serve anyone to be one.
Correct.
Well, doesn't that begin to tell you something?
I brought this on myself.
You're invalidating that state of being by insisting so strongly that there's something wrong with it. Now, we understand that it may not necessarily be the most organized state that someone can be in. Nevertheless, it begins coming from you as a value judgment, or perhaps we shall say as a devaluation.
Okay.
So, rather than looking at it as something different that simply isn't your preference, you have, in a sense, actually labeled it as something wrong with her.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. Therefore, if you label something in someone else as wrong, the only thing they can actually reflect back to you is the same thing. There's something in you that's wrong. Do you understand? And therefore, that's the reflection to you that the so-called wrong that's going on in you is the labeling of something else as wrong. You see the paradox here?
Yep. Looking in the mirror here.
Oh yes, always. Yep. So when you relax your devaluation of that idea, there will be no need necessarily for the other person to reflect it to you, at least not to the degree that seems to irk you.
Got it.
You follow me?
Got it.
Then they may say, oh, well, I have nothing to bounce this off of anymore. Well, guess I'll just clean up my room then.
All right.
You understand the process going on here as we're describing it in this perhaps overly simplistic form, but nevertheless reflective, yes?
Yes.
Is this helping you?
Yeah.
All right, now, how's your neck feel at the moment?
About the same.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I'm not saying you have to instantaneously transform this. This can be a process at whatever rate you are comfortable with. It's your permission slip to see reflections. But you see, let's hearken back to that Bible for just a moment, because that's actually the meaning of the phrase, judge not, lest ye be judged. It's not about really the idea that you will be judged by others. It's about the idea that as you judge, in the negative context, you become the vibration of judgment itself. And thus, in that sense, you are judging yourself.
Wow.
You follow?
Thank you.
All right, so as we have often said, the true path to enlightenment is obviously and often simply lightening up on yourself. Make sense? And when you lighten up on yourself, you will lighten up on others. Because no one will be seen as a threat.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Because the only reason someone would feel, in that sense, the devaluation to be needed is because they sense that as some kind of a threat. They're labeling it as a threat to their world. As if that person had any power at all to affect the reality you experience, which they do not. Do you understand?
Yes.
Really?
I think so.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bashar.
And to you, good day.
My question, actually, my questions began this morning, and then the Willa transmission actually was
Yes.
so direct with the questions that I had.
Yes.
They answered them, as well as I remembered a dream I had
All right.
3 nights ago
Yes.
of the coyote fox
Yes.
figure with that came to me.
All right. Well, you may
And-
have already been thus then picking up on the energy.
Yes.
As you say, ahead of time, but not really ahead of time because everything is concurrent.
Okay, and then she raised her hand, and there was an eye in her palm.
Yes.
And so I have a couple questions. One, what that means, but also, when in this first contact experience, are we individually picking up on certain individuals within your experience?
Maybe.
Or
Maybe
is
not.
it more of a general?
Maybe.
A generalization.
Maybe. Maybe. Depends on the person. You have to take it on a case-by-case basis. Every individual is different. What they will pick up on will be relevant for them. Sometimes you'll pick up on a generality. Sometimes you'll pick up on a specificity. It just depends on that particular moment, that particular person, in that particular energy state.
Okay.
Case by case.
So for us to integrate, is it just really about trusting whatever's coming, or is there anything in particular to focus with? Because it brought, for me,
Well,
it's a little,
you can focus with whatever permission slip you wish.
Okay.
Does it need to be more complicated than that?
no.
Are you sure? We know how many of you love to complicate things. So if you want to add more complexity, by all means, go ahead. We understand that sometimes one of the greatest difficulties your people have is allowing things to actually be simple. But it is that simple. Do you need anything else? You have to ask yourself that question. Is it just this? Or is it this and that and that and that? It's up to you, really, completely up to you to decide what you need to allow it to be so. Yes?
I guess trusting at that level of experience is new to me because it's...
Oh, it's no. Did you not hear what we said about not having to learn to trust?
Okay.
The level is the same. The level of trust is the same for everything you trust in. It's 100%.
Okay.
There is no different level of trust. It's just what you're putting your 100% trust in.
Okay.
That's the thing. That's the difference. So, if you have decided that you're putting your 100% trust in something you don't prefer, that's out of alignment with yourself, that doesn't resonate with you, then decide what else to put your trust in. And that's what you will experience. It's not about levels of trust.
I'm trusting in the adventure and the exploration of it all.
All right. And when you behave like you know that to be true, it will be experienced as true. Because remember, knowingness and behavior are synonymous. Okay. It's even above and beyond the idea of belief. When you know something to be true, you just do it. You don't think about it. It's like having walked across the room to the microphone, yes? You just knew you could do it, so you did it. You didn't go, well, there's that microphone over there. I think I can walk over to it, and I believe I can walk over to it. And I believe my foot will move, and I believe my next foot will move. No, you just knew you could do it, and you did it. That's the difference. Knowing is synonymous with behavior. What you know you do, you do. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Does that help?
Yes.
Thank you.
The eye in the hand,
Yes, what about it?
does it have a significance?
It always has significance. What's the significance to you? It's your symbol.
Ah, okay.
So, do you want to share or do you want to keep it to yourself? It doesn't matter.
I guess it's the having sight beyond what we normally see.
And in the hand,
And in the hand of,
meaning,
well, it was in the
if you had
hand.
just seen the eye, then that alone, okay, would be the idea of sight beyond what you normally see. But you said the eye was in the hand.
Yes.
Therefore, the hand is symbolic of
Doing?
your reality, yes, creating your reality, what you call manipulation of your reality.
Okay.
So the idea is when you see your reality more clearly, you'll be able to transform it and change it more readily, more consciously. Yes?
Yes, okay.
Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Daniel.
Oh, all right, if you insist.
I'm really excited that I'm talking to a being that's off planet that's here to embrace us and support us. So
All right, well, we are very excited to be talking to all of you down there.
thank you. My question is, how do we fully let go of fear and embrace self-love?
By discovering how it is that the fear serves you in your belief system. In other words, you don't hold on to a negative belief if you don't believe that it serves you somehow in a positive way, or at least what you believe to be a positive way. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, to protect us, keep us safe.
Yes, because if you have two choices, and you know that this choice might be empirically what you would actually prefer, but you're not choosing it, you're afraid to choose it, what that means is you've attached a belief to that thing that is actually representative of your excitement that somehow makes it seem to be the more dangerous choice. Now, if you didn't attach that belief to it, it would appear to be your excitement and you would act on it, you would choose it. So the question is, well, if I'm afraid to act on what I say is really my excitement, well, what would I have to believe is true about what will happen if I choose it that makes me so afraid of choosing it? And then you will find out what that fear is, what that belief is. You'll identify it, and as soon as you identify it, you'll see it has nothing to do with you. It's something you picked up along the way. It belongs to someone else. You've stolen someone else's belief. You're a belief thief. Drop it. It doesn't belong to you. Let it go. It's not yours. But you have to identify what it is before you can do that, because you can't work with what you don't know. Make sense?
Yes.
Is this helping?
Yes.
Anything else?
Well, there's the other part. How do we embrace self-love? How do we fully love ourselves?
Why don't you fully love yourself would be the question we would ask. What's stopping you from doing that? You see, if you find or think even that you have a negative belief preventing you from being yourself, then why not really just explore it from that direction? Amplify, magnify the negative belief. Ask yourself, what is the most horrifying, terrifying thing I can imagine will happen if I fully love myself? What does that mean? What will that mean if I do that? And then when you ask the question that way and you aren't afraid to find out what the fear is, then you will allow yourself to begin truly exploring. What would I have to believe is true in order to stop myself from being who I know I am? What would I have to believe is true? Oh, let's see. If I fully loved myself, I would be this incredible being and I would lose all my friends because they couldn't relate to me anymore. I know it sounds really crazy, but we've actually heard that belief on your planet. Just letting you in on a little secret. Beliefs like that actually exist on your planet. We don't know how they can, but they do. But you get the point. That may or may not be your particular belief, but it acts as an illustration for the kind of beliefs that might prevent you from moving in the direction of your joy because you've attached a concept of what will happen if you do that is less than pleasant. So when you find out that that belief is attached there, you'll let it go because it will be nonsensical and illogical to hold on to it once you realize what it is and it has nothing to do with what you prefer. You'll just let it go. And you will start feeling more of the love. You will let more of the love, the unconditional love of creation in. You will start loving yourself enough to do that. And in essence, what you will do is you will stop arguing with creation. Because you see, the only reason, in a sense, that you would feel you can't fully love yourself is that you're actually inventing reasons and telling God, I'm not worthy. And in a sense, it's like you're throwing the gift back in God's face. Now, God doesn't care. But the idea really is that you're actually resisting your natural state. You're saying, you, in unconditional love, of which I'm a part, still somehow made a mistake. I don't belong. Now, while many people on your planet might actually think that that is, in some sense, over-exaggerated humility, it's actually over-exaggerated hubris and arrogance. Because you're saying, out of all of creation that is worthy, I alone am not worthy of unconditional love. I alone stand outside and above and beyond all beings in creation who receive and allow themselves to be fully loved and love themselves. I am unique in that way. I am special. Is this making some sense?
Totally. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, by the way, our unconditional love to you.
Thank you.
Yes. Are your stomachs grumbling? Is it time for nutrition? All right, then we will allow you to take your nutrition break and we'll resume this transmission afterwards. Enjoy your break. How's it going? And besides, isn't this cozier?
It is, but sometimes, you know, being with you, it's like being in a circus.
Well, with as much clowning around as you people do, it's no wonder.
So funny. Oh my goodness. So I have some more names to call. First one is Ann Lee. The second one is Apollo Poetry. The third one is Elena St. Martin. And the next one is Fazel or Lazel.
And that will do for the moment.
That's exactly
After, yes.
That's exactly how many I picked.
All right.
Getting good at this.
Synchronicity abounds.
All right, thank you. Oh, so would anyone whose name was called like to come up? Oh, you're putting someone else on the spot.
Bashar?
I know you. Good day.
I love you.
We love you as well.
I've been watching you from afar, and you're just the greatest thing
Is that
to
a
happen.
country on your planet? Welcome to afar.
I have so many questions I don't even know where to begin, but I would like to know, what do you zero in on when you're connecting with Daryl to channel? What happens on your end of it?
I stand against a wall in my scout ship. I lean back against the wall, and the wall gives way to turn into a supportive reclining system. It puts me into a state of repose vibrationally that thus then keys in and amplifies through the ship's intelligence all the connections that need to be made and all the vibrational linkages that need to occur to allow the channeling to progress. I am thus then ensconced in the center of my own higher mind, which is actually a physically representation in the ship itself. Our ships are actually solidified higher minds.
That's fascinating.
It's also fun.
I had a dream where I was with my daughter out in kind of the wilderness by a log, and there was this big, huge, red flying saucer, and I was jumping up and down and so happy because my family was coming or whatever. I was so excited.
Yay.
And I was wondering, is there a significance with the red? Or is that symbolic of something? Or
Everything is symbolic of something. Everything has some significance to you personally, if that's the way you saw it. So the reflections can mean many things. It can be the representation of the idea of the root chakra, connecting the vibration to nature, the earth, Gaia. You understand?
Yes, I do.
Are you linked that way? Are you guided that way? Are you excited that way about nature?
No, I'm probably more related to the stars. I feel more connection to that than the earth.
Then maybe what the saucer was telling you is you need a little more grounding.
I certainly do.
Because remember, it's not about running away or leaving the earth to connect to the stars. It's about bringing heaven down to earth by acting as the ladder, as the link, as the bridge. So you have to be very grounded, firmly grounded, in order to actually reach higher. Just like a tree has to have very strong roots in order to grow very tall. Do you understand the analogy?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Yes, it does. I was wondering when we were looking at that pinpoint chart, if we were to be able to utilize that for travel.
Travel in what context?
Like teleportation.
That isn't its primary focus, no.
Is it somewhat like an advanced astrology chart of a person?
In a sense, although understand again that all such things are simply permission slips that reflect the state of consciousness. So in that sense, looking at the mapping of many different parallel incarnations that exist simultaneously can determine through the quality of the vibrations of all those incarnations what the oversoul is like, and can thus then also help illuminate what some of the individual lives are like based on their relationship from one to the other.
And is that pinpoint chart coming from...
It's a pin chart. It's a
I'm
pin
sorry.
chart.
Is that coming from an intuitional basis? Where is that information coming from?
The pin charts being created by the 33rd parallel is because they can actually see into parallel realities. So they are the ones that people go to create those charts. People can learn this to some degree, but they simply innately have the ability to see in multiple parallel realities simultaneously. Thus, then, they literally can see what they're charting. You understand?
Fascinating.
They can actually see the connections, see the patterns, see the underlying structure, see the simultaneous lives. For them, it's just an observation. It's not really an intuition, per se. It's no more mysterious to them than you looking at a red rose and saying, well, the rose is red. There it is. I'm looking at it. It's an observation. It's not an opinion. It's not an intuition. It's an observation.
They have special vision?
They have that vision. That's their nature. That's why they are cryptics.
Fascinating. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Beloved Bashar.
And a you good day.
You've been so patient with us. and
No, I have
answered-
not.
You've answered
Because
all,
I do not require patience because I'm never impatient.
You've,
I live in the moment.
You've answered all our questions. My question
No,
is...
you have answered all your questions. I have simply reflected back to you what you already knew.
My
But you
que-
allowed yourselves to use me as a permission slip, which I'm happy to do, to help you remember what you already know.
Okay, then my question for you is, what
Your question for yourself is,
What... My question for us
Yes.
is, what question do you wish we would ask you? And what's your response to that?
Why not?
Perfect. The two-word meditation.
Right up there with, so what?
And then how would you answer that question?
Why not?
Okay. Thank you.
Is this helping you?
Perfect.
All right. Thank you.
It's looking like possibly, there were two other names I called, Apollo Poetry, and, go ahead. Yes, if your name was called, please feel comfortable to come up and sit in the seat next to questions.
My name's Apollo.
All right, good day.
The first question is kind of a fun one.
Kind of?
If our souls can exist in multiple bodies, multiple dimensions, and multiple time frames,
Your
right?
oversoul, not your individual soul.
So from that perspective, are our souls all technically in polyamory relationships?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. And the second question, as you know, I'm making a documentary called The Secret of Destiny, and it explores the difference between destiny and this concept of determinism and free will.
Yes.
So
destiny is the theme you chose to explore. Free will is how you explore it. You choose a hallway to go down in your life. You choose a theme of exploration. Go down that hall, you will. That's your destiny. How you go down the hall is up to your physical free will. Run, jump, skip, upside down, backwards, left, right, fly, crawl, happy, sad. But down the hall you go. That's the difference between destiny and free will. And even then, you can understand that from the higher perspective, what you call destiny from the physical perspective is still the free will of the soul. Because it's choosing that destiny.
So the free will is decided on the soul level, and our physical bodies are just acting out what's predetermined, and the illusion
The
from...
destiny is decided on the soul level. The free will is acted out on the physical level. How you explore the theme is up to you. But the theme is the destiny.
Thank you.
And that doesn't mean that every aspect of it is predetermined. It simply means the theme is predetermined. It doesn't necessarily mean that the events that unfold are predetermined. A lot is allowed to happen in the sense that it is understood that physical reality contains what you call randomness. But if the randomness fits the theme, it will fall into the slot and be used. Because you're making choices, and the choices create consequences, which are the random events that match the vibration of the choices and the consequences and fall into the slot of the destiny for you to explore. Is this making sense in your language?
It's processing.
Oh, all right. Give it a moment for it to fall into the slot. And?
Oh, there it is.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Bashar.
Andy, you good day.
I wanted to ask you about my dreams because I've been lately blocking them. Like when I wake up.
Speak up, speak up.
Like when I wake up, I don't remember them. So I want to.
Then how do you know you had them?
Because I know I've dreamed, but I don't remember it,
So,
and I wanted to.
why? Why not live your dreams instead of trying to remember your dreams?
I'm doing it actually.
Well, then maybe there's nothing to remember because you're dreaming right now while you're awake. Many times when people expand their consciousness, they may actually, for a period of time, not remember their dreams because they are actually living them. Therefore, there's no difference between the physical and the non-physical. There's nothing to remember. There's no difference to recognize.
That's
Make
awesome.
sense?
Yeah.
You see, many times also, what you call a dream is actually your consciousness going up to what we call the template level reality, the blueprint level reality of your physical experience, and arranging what it is you will experience when you wake up into physical focus. So in that sense, it's not like there's really anything to remember except the framework that is now actually being experienced in the physical life as it unfolds that was laid out in the blueprint level.
Okay.
So you can sort of sense you had a dream, but it doesn't really make sense that you remember it because you're actually living what you laid out for yourself. And that's the remembering of the dream.
Okay.
Make
Thanks.
sense?
Yeah. I have another question.
Yes.
About my second chakra.
Yes.
It hurts, kind of hurts. I've been having this pain for a long time, and I think I found out what the root of it, right?
Which is? What?
Do I have to say it?
No, you don't have to say anything.
Okay. No, I just want to know, how can I work with my second chakra?
Oh, do I have to say it?
You don't. You don't. Okay.
Do you trust your gut?
What do you mean?
Do you trust your instincts? Hesitation usually means no. Therefore, you can work on that. Trusting your gut hunch, your instinct, will allow you to smooth out that chakra.
Okay. Yeah.
All right?
Okay, yeah. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And pleasant dreams. What is your time frame, Nania?
Actually, we have quite a bit more time.
What is your time frame?
It's about 50 minutes.
What is your time frame?
Wait, are you, oh, right, what time is it? Is that
Thank
what you'd
you.
like to know? Sometimes I'm not sure what you're saying. It's actually 10 minutes after 3.
All right.
Okay, so I drew 4 more names.
All right.
Okay, and the first one is Patrick L., who's asking about a skull from Peru. And Jesus Blanco Soto, Lauren Bristow, and Brian Walter. So if you'd please come up here.
Hi, Bashar.
And you, good day.
I honestly have no idea why I'm up here.
Obviously.
I didn't put my name down. I really didn't.
Well, obviously you did on some level.
Okay. So.
Unless you are taking someone else's place.
No, unless there's another Lauren Bristow here. No? Okay.
Do you have a question or something you would like to discuss?
So this is the first time that I've actually seen you and really paid attention to you. Okay.
What a synchronicity. This is the first time we paid attention to you. What are the odds
Well,
of
yeah.
paying attention to each other for the very first time at the same time? Amazing.
It was kind of crazy. Everything that you said, it was kind of, you were in my head. And
Yes.
I was talking to my boyfriend about stuff last night, about things
Yes.
with me, and you just covered everything.
Yes. Synchronicity.
Yes, we're in sync, apparently.
Yes. And therefore, this is a reflection of the fact of what we have said. When you speak with us, what you're actually speaking to is your own higher mind, using us as, well, an excuse to let it be all right to do so.
Okay.
So, we are here to simply reinforce the idea that everything you heard was coming from you. and that all of you have the ability to take all this information and access all this information for yourselves. We are happy to be a reflective symbol, but we don't have to be. You all have connection to source, and all have the ability to understand all these things, and all this information is free for you to tap into. It's up to you. So you have created with us a synchronistic dance reflection of what you already know. We thank you.
I thank you.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's up, Bashar?
I am.
Good to see you, buddy. My name's Brian, but you can call me Truly.
All right, Truly.
Okay, so everything's all happening at once.
Yes,
yeah?
it is.
So then it seems to me that this issue of how we dance down the hallway
Yes.
has a lot to do with which frames that we are perceiving.
Yes.
Okay? And one of the previous questions, you were talking about how, you know, there's all these random events, and certain ones of them will drop in according to what our vibration is.
Making them then, at that point, not random at all, but synchronous.
Right. So I think this also has something to do with that the manner of the dance down the hall. That
No,
if
all
you're-
right.
If you've chosen you know, to go down there in an unhappy mood, then the random events are going to generate. Things are going to slot in that accentuate that.
Yes, you will
So
get reflections of what you typically refer to as negative synchronicity.
Okay, so how do you turn that around, please?
By dancing a happy dance. No, not an evil dance.
Oh, that was not the evil laugh,
I know,
Bashar.
I know.
I do have an
I'm playing
evil laugh.
with you.
All right, fine. Okay, so then.
By always knowing that everything that happens in your life can be there for a positive reason. And if you thus then only label the things that happen as being there for a positive reason, then no matter what anyone else's intention in the scenario may be toward you, you will only experience a positive effect from every single situation and scenario that unfolds in your life. Because nothing has built-in meaning. Life, the great gift, is that life is fundamentally meaningless. You are designed to give it meaning, and the meaning you give it determines the effect you get from it. So when you decide that everything has a positive meaning, that's the only way you will experience it, regardless of what anyone else's involvement or perception may be.
So this is how we choose the frames that feel good.
With your vibration. It's the third law of creation, as we call it. What you put out is what you get back. Plain and simple. This is just physics. Physical reality is a mirror. If you're looking in a mirror and you see the reflection frowning, you don't yell at the reflection to smile. You don't go over to the mirror and try to force the reflection to smile. That won't work. But if you smile, the mirror has no choice but to smile back. Now, granted, because you're creating a physical space-time reality, sometimes you may create a little bit of a lag time between the time you smile and the time you see the reflection smiling. And the reason that this happens sometimes is that you're actually, in a sense, let's say, testing yourself. Have I really changed? Am I really smiling? Because many times people on your planet think they will smile if the outside reality smiles first. But you know a mirror can't smile first. So when you smile, no matter what's going on the outside, if you know that it's positive for you, no matter how it looks, then you will have proven, in a sense, to the mirror that the true test of change is not that the outer reality changes to reflect the change. It's that you respond differently to the outer reality, even if it still looks the same. That's the true test of change, and when you pass that test, then the outer reality will have no choice but to create the appropriate reflection. But you must change for your own sake, not because of the change you think you need to make in the outer reality. Make sense? Otherwise, you're putting conditions on your joy. Yes, I'll be happy when, I'll be happy if, because then all you're saying is, I'm not happy. So why should the mirror smile? Make sense?
Crystal clear, actually.
Why, thank you. Will that suffice?
Well, I do have one more thing.
Oh, all right.
All right. So, just thinking about this whole thing of frame selection and
Yes.
manifestation, the whole. I got an intuitive sense that, at least for me,
Yes.
that there was something kind of mischievously sneaky about what I needed to be doing.
Yes.
So, could you speak about that at all?
We are always mischievously sneaky. The idea is that sometimes you will need to trick yourself or attract the idea, as it is often called archetypally, of the trickster into your life in some form to allow you to sort of get your mind out of your way. In many ways, this is what we're doing with some of the information we deliver. And it is one of the fundamental properties of the idea of excitement. Sometimes it will actually, shall we say, euphemistically, dangle a carrot in front of your face and make you think that that's the thing that needs to manifest, because it knows that if you think that's what's going to manifest, you'll get off your butt and move. But that may not be the thing that needs to manifest. Sometimes the carrot is just there to trick you into moving because that's what you needed to do. Does that help?
Big, huge gauze of unconditional love to you, brother.
I love you truly. Nania? Yes. 3 only. All right. Just making sure you're hearing us clearly.
Good day to you, Bashar.
And good day to you.
Bashar.
Yes.
I would like to discuss the theme of why I keep on choosing what I say I don't prefer.
All right. Well, we have begun that discussion, but we'll go deeper into it if you wish. The idea basically is to understand that this comes down to what we call the mechanism of motivation. Again, you all have the same mechanism of motivation. Now, are you paying attention?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sir. All right. Very formal. Always, without fail, without exception, automatically and immediately, no exceptions, you will always choose what you define, what you believe to be in your best interest. You will always move away from what you define, what you believe to be not in your best interests. So that should give you the clue that if you look at the motivational mechanism and recognize from a higher level that something is truly representative of your highest excitement, what it's really, really, really all about for you, what you really prefer, and yet you're not choosing it, the only reason that can exist is you've attached a definition or a belief to that thing that makes it appear to not be the preferable choice over the other choice. For example, someone might say, well, yes, I recognize that this is what I prefer, but if you've been taught to believe that choosing that is somehow going to bring something into your life that is so onerous, so unpleasant, then you've associated what you prefer with that unpleasantness. And you will do everything in your power to avoid making that choice as long as you link the negative belief to that preferred thing to make the preferred thing seem unpleasant. More unpleasant than just doing what you're already doing. In other words, what you do is arrange your beliefs, and what you're doing then is choosing what you call in your language the lesser of two evils. Even though what you're doing may be painful, you will always choose what you deem to be less painful than the other choice. So if you're not choosing what you prefer, that tells you right up front you have a belief attached to it that makes it seem more painful than the pain you're already enduring. So find out what you would have to believe is true in order to make that thing seem not preferable, even though you might know from a higher perspective that it is. And when you investigate that, and if you're willing to hear the answer in some form will come. And when you identify what that belief is, you will see that it's nonsensical and illogical because it doesn't belong to you, and thus then you can let it go. But you have to identify it first because you cannot work with what you don't know about. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes. And
Yes?
I would like to take it a little further.
Go right ahead.
I was able to identify 3 reasons why I
Yes.
kept on choosing what I chose that
Yes.
I didn't want to.
Are you willing to be more specific, or would you rather keep this general?
No, I'm willing to be more specific.
All right, so what is the thing you would prefer to choose that you're not choosing, and what are the things you have discovered that keep you from choosing it?
All right. The specific issue I have is my weight, which recently passed over 400 pounds.
Oh, all right. So
And-
what are you waiting to do?
Exactly. I've been through a lot of introspection and through a
Yes.
lot of finding out what my beliefs were.
Yes.
I was able to identify, number one, that I was getting ready for apocalypse, and I was getting ready to stocking up, to being strong.
All right.
And I let go of that because
All
I
right.
found it nonsensical
All
and
right.
because I chose not to be in that parallel reality.
Thank you. And what else did you discover?
The second is that I identified that since I've been by myself most of my life,
Yes.
that I needed to be big and strong to intimidate people as a way of protection.
Oh, all right.
The third,
Although, if I may interrupt you for one moment.
Absolutely.
And this, of course, is a joke. I am only 5 feet tall and very thin, yet it seems that I intimidate a lot of you people.
all right. Now, the third one is the one where I actually need a little help from you.
Oh, all
because
right.
I think
What's the third one?
when I was a child,
Yes.
about 4 or 5 years old,
Yes.
I had beings coming to the edge of my bed.
Yes.
And they were very scary to me.
Yes.
And right after I saw them,
Yes.
I would start going up towards what I thought. Well, I don't know if it was my physical self or my astral self, but I would go all the way to the ceiling.
All right, one moment. You have turned yourself into a lead balloon, so you will not be capable of being floated away.
That is absolutely right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
There is nothing to fear in that experience.
Yes.
Nothing at all. There really isn't. I promise.
Why was I being visited by these beings?
For a variety of reasons. A lot of it has to do with what has been on your planet called the hybridization agenda. You understand this term? Alien
Yes.
abduction, you understand this term?
Was I part of that?
Yes.
Was my DNA taken?
Yes.
Do I have hybrid children?
Yes.
All right.
Please let go of the fear. It is the fear energy blocking the flow of energy through you and allowing that energy to turn into mass. Let go of the fear and the energy will flow. And then when you feel yourself becoming lighter, no need to fear that just because you're becoming lighter that you can be snatched. Because remember, even though your physical mind may not remember, you made an agreement on a soul level to participate in this agenda, for which we are infinitely grateful, because it has given us life. So we thank you for your participation. There is nothing to fear, because not in any way, shape, or form, meaning this to be an egotistical statement, we are the end result. And you have fun with us, do you not?
Yes, we do.
All right. Then lighten up on yourself so that you can rise above the fear.
Will do.
Thank you.
Will I ever see them physically?
It is probable, but we do not know the degree of the probability at this particular moment. You need to become a little bit more the person with whom they have actually made the agreement to appear. So that parallel reality choice hasn't quite been set yet, quite crystallized yet, but in this conversation you are heading in the correct direction.
Back to my country.
Which is?
Venezuela.
All right. Is that exciting?
Like nothing I've ever done.
Why is it exciting for you? And what will you do? Are you a painter?
No.
Are you sure?
I like to sing, but not paint.
Singing, all right. A painter of words.
Okay.
Songs, yes?
Yes.
All right, one moment. We are strongly cross-connected to many different kinds of artistic incarnations. Artistic expression in some form will be very, very, very good for you. Very, very enlightening to your spirit. Yes?
Yes.
Please give voice to your passion and give passion to your voice. All right?
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you for being such a wonderful mirror.
Lauren Levin, Sandy Rogers, and Craig Rossi. And would you like me to choose one more since one person? No.
No.
You sure about
Thank
that?
you very much. Absolutely positive. I think you can tell by our demeanor.
I think I can too.
Thank you for being here.
And to you, good day.
Wow.
The upside down mom.
The upside down mom?
Wow.
That's good. That's good. This last question from the young man that was just here
Yes.
just triggered a lot for me.
Congratulations.
Because I feel like an experience I had very young has made a huge difference in my life.
Yes.
And not in a positive way for me.
All right, such as?
Feeling less than.
Yes.
And afraid to
Oh,
really
all right.
step out, even though there are times when I do.
Yes. Such as
find,
now?
I find that I retreat easily.
Oh, all right. Where do you go when you retreat?
Into my own private world.
Your own private world. What exists in that private world, may I ask?
A lot of fear.
You retreat into fear?
It seems to be more comfortable than stepping out.
What do you think will happen if you step out?
I'm not sure. I think that's why I don't step out. I'm not
But
sure.
you say you retreat into fear. So you're not afraid to retreat into fear,
It's
yet
more
you are
it's-
afraid to step out where you're not sure what's going to happen.
The fear has been comfortable.
It
It's
has
what's-
become
it's become comfortable.
an old coat,
Yeah.
an old blanket.
Yes.
Oh, all right. One moment. Follow along with me, if you will, in your imagination. Go into that space where the fear is a blanket and see it that way. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Are you wrapped up in that blanket?
Yes.
What color is it?
Green.
Green. Why is it green?
That's just the color that came to mind.
All right. And you know why?
No.
Because it's the color of the heart chakra. You're afraid to feel.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Yet, ironically and paradoxically, you feel a lot of fear. Yes?
Yes.
All right. So you're not really afraid to feel because you're willing to feel fear. The question is, why aren't you willing to feel love for yourself?
That's the question.
Yes, it is. That's why we asked it.
And if I knew that answer, I wouldn't be sitting here.
But you do know the answer. Obviously, you have been taught to believe, as you say, that you don't deserve that love, yes?
Yes.
All right. Well, do you understand that if that was true, you wouldn't exist?
No.
Shall I explain that?
Yes, please.
Do you exist? Of course you do. Say yes.
Yes.
All right. So, that means that creation created you. You're part of creation, yes?
Yes.
Do you believe creation makes mistakes?
Yes.
How is that possible? Can you explain how it would be possible that creation could create something that didn't belong in creation? Little bit of a conundrum there, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. It is not possible for creation to create something that doesn't belong in creation. If you exist, creation must know you need to exist, or creation wouldn't be complete. Without you, nothing would exist. Therefore, creation obviously believes you are worthy of existence, or it wouldn't have created you. So when you disbelieve in your own worth, you are arguing with creation. And yet the paradox is, your very ability to argue with creation proves that you're worthy of existence. Is this messing with your mind a little bit?
Just a little.
Good. That's what you need. You need a little co-fusion.
Co-fusion?
Yes, not confusion, co-fusion. In your mind. You need to start looking at this from different perspectives, which is what we are helping you do right now, so that you can sort of rattle free from these old ways of looking at yourself and start looking at yourself from a new perspective, through the eyes of creation. There are no such things as mistakes in creation. Everything that exists for a reason, and without it, creation wouldn't be whole. Therefore, you are worthy of creation because you exist. Therefore, stop arguing with creation about your worth. At least begin there. Yes?
Good place to start.
It is a very good place to start because you are in good hands with all that is.
Thank you.
Are you feeling a little bit more of the warm, vibrating love coursing through your heart?
Would that be the sweat dripping down my brow right now?
It's a start. Yes.
Yes.
Do understand that perspiration and tears sometimes are the body's way of detoxifying from toxic beliefs. Tears of joy, tears of relief happen because the idea is that since you are having a physical reality, any belief you take into yourself, the negative ones, will have to have a corresponding chemical signature in your body. But when you finally let go of the belief and you cry because you're suddenly in touch with the fact that you've been holding on to that for so long and now you're willing to let it go, and you cry these tears, these emotional upwellings of relief, it's because you are literally washing those chemical constituents out of your body through your tears.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does this help you?
Immensely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our unconditional love to you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
Thank you for keeping our appointment.
Absolutely. I had no choice, really.
My name is Lauren.
Because it is the thing I choose. Therefore, since I have chosen it, I have no choice but to choose it.
Thank you. My name is Lauren.
All right, if you insist.
I live in Phoenix, Arizona, but
If you
I just
insist on that too.
recently visited
Yes.
Hawaii 2
Yes.
weeks ago.
All right.
And I got to swim with the wild spinner dolphins.
How exciting.
Some pilot whales and manta rays. So
Yes.
I have a question then.
Yes.
What is the connection between the dolphins and our intergalactic friends from other planets?
They have a very strong connection to the star system of Sirius. And thus then they are in telepathic communication very often with consciousnesses from that star system and from that dimension of reality. Thus then they are very, very good at helping you connect to the Sirius energy as well through their vibration. And also they are very good practice for having contact with what you call extraterrestrial beings. Because they are, in a sense, aliens in your very own backyard. Well, all right, in your very own swimming pool. And thus, then, the more you practice learning how to communicate with the dolphins and the whales, in a sense, the easier it will be to also communicate with extraterrestrial beings. Because there is a lot of similarity. And they do have an actual language. And therefore, you can learn it, and you can actually communicate that way, or you can communicate through vibration, through the heart, telepathically if you wish. It's up to you. But they are very good practice, and they are willing, especially what we call the dreamers. The dreamers are the ambassadors of the cetacean nation that are willing to interact with the humans and help them understand that they are far from alone in the universe. Dolphins have been talking to extraterrestrial beings for thousands of years. They just kind of look at you like you're sort of hard of hearing. Does this make sense?
It does.
Does this
indeed.
help you?
Yes, thank you very much.
Why, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I've learned a lot today. Thank you.
all right.
My question has to do with cryptozoology.
Yes.
One of my favorite movies was The Mothman Prophecies. I've always
Yes.
wondered, what was the Mothman creature? Was it a real thing?
It's an interdimensional being, very unusual, has to do with dimensions of the afterlife in a very, very unique way. A little bit difficult to explain in your language. We have, at another time, talked about the fact that there are beings that live in between dimensions, that's a dimension in and of itself, and this is one such being. Very unusual fauna, very unusual consciousness, very unusual being, but attracted like a moth to the flame of spirit that is about to transition from physical to non-physical reality.
Is that what explained the Silver Bridge disaster?
It doesn't explain the disaster. It explains the attraction of the being to it.
Oh.
The sudden release of so much spirit from the physical world, like a moth to a flame. That's why it's perceived as a moth. It doesn't actually look like that in its own reality. But it translates archetypally, it imprints itself into your reality with that archetypal symbol, and that's how it's perceived by your senses, because it functions so similarly to that concept of a moth to a flame. And that's how your psyche interprets its existence in your world, as a moth man.
Then who was the Indrid Cold entity? He communicated with this writer named John Keel.
We understand that, but in fact that name was taken from something else.
Where?
It was taken from a different story and applied in that story representation of those events in your reality. The name is connected in a sense to a different level of reality, but it isn't directly connected to the idea of the Mothman. It is simply that the writers decided that it had the right vibration to send chills down your spine and chose it.
So the Men in Black have nothing to do with the Mothman event in West Virginia? Because I know that those two things are interrelated.
No, not directly in the way that you are meaning it, no.
Okay.
Does this help you?
Yes.
All right, then thank you.
Thank you, Bashar.
At this timing, we will allow you a short break so that you may prepare for the holotope meditation, which we will then deliver in the continuation of this transmission. Take a short break. How's it going?
Okay, we're going to get started in just a few minutes. I know they are working out some technical issues right now. Pressure's on. And Daryl has to catch a plane, so, you know, this is getting really exciting. Yes? Someone lost their sunglasses. There's some sunglasses up there. Okay. Well, one of the things, what we're about to do is something that's called a holotope meditation. And this is a technology that was developed by Kirby Seed. And this is all these fractal patterns and a million layers of things. I'm really technical, as you can tell. But it really works. It really works to open up your consciousness and allow the messages that are being given to you to sink in more deeply. So, and it's also a very pleasurable experience. So they're working on the final details of that right now. I did want to make a couple more announcements. One was that, you want me to move this way? Okay. More this way, okay. Is this better? Anything down. Okay. So, well, one announcement that I wanted to make is upcoming Bashar events. We have the next Bashar event is on June 1st in Arizona in Phoenix. So those of you that have enjoyed the experience of Bashar live can come to Phoenix. It'll be near Storm Wisdom. I know Charles of Storm Wisdom will put it on. At the New Visions Church? Living Center, okay. That's on the 1st. He hasn't given us the titles yet, but I think he's going to give them on Monday. And then 2 weeks after that, we're going to have an event in Los Angeles. It's a 3-day event, starts on Friday night, then Saturday night, and then Sunday morning. And each of those are 2 hours. The Saturday night session is 2 hours plus a guided meditation with a holotope. And Sunday morning is a guided meditation with a holotope at the end also. And then the week after that, we're going to be in Fresno. And more details about that, but Bashar will be channeling with Einstein, a crystal skull. So, and that will also be streamed. All of these events, oh, I'm not supposed to move. All of these events are going to be streamed via Ustream, and also there's options to listen in via teleconference. And then the final event in June is in San Francisco. I believe it is June 30th, and you'll have more details about that. And these are all-day events similar to this event today. And then, of course, a few weeks later will be I think it's going to be a 5-day Shasta journey with the guided meditations that Bashar creates for us. He has meditations for the volcano, for when we're in the morning at the lake. At night, there will probably be another ET contact meditation in Shasta also. And this evening, who should people go to sign up for the guided meditation this evening? Victoria will help you. Want to stand up, Victoria? Beautiful Victoria, to whom we owe a great deal of thank yous for everything that she did in helping to bring this event together. In fact, you know, I want to thank all the volunteers, our fantastic audio video staff, Emmy, the head of our multimedia, Bunny, Ilan, of course, Michael and Amira for their help, and Lindy for her help, and a special thanks to Erica Jordan, Daryl's lovely wife, for her help and support in helping to make all of this possible. So, and then the other thing that I wanted to mention is that on events like this, we have reduced prices for CDs and DVDs that if you went on the website to purchase them, they would be more expensive. So we give a really deep discount at the events. If you're interested in that, they'll be over in the tent. And tonight's session, of course, you can pre-order that And if you want it as a download, the downloads will actually be available this week. So I wonder if I'm forgetting anything else. Oh, just our guided meditation. I think it's going to be really amazing tonight. So I hope a lot of you will decide to come and join in the fun experience. So is there anything that would stop us from going forward at this point, Emmy?
Yeah, I got to go catch a plane now. Bye.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because he really does like have to leave at 4:30. So, what? It's good. Oh, that is what. Don't turn out the lights yet. So, anyway, again, thank you all so much for being here, for being part of these fun and exciting experiences with Bashar, and thank you, Daryl, for having this special talent.
Of going to sleep.
Yes, no, of being you are the best biological telephone. Like you're almost
Thank
as good
you.
as a spaceship.
No,
you know.
thank
So.
Yeah, maybe the
Anyway,
space part, right.
we will turn this over to you now, and thank you all again very much for being here.
Thank you. But let's say we'll continue the transmission in the following way. All of you become relaxed. But keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes focused on the center of the holotope before you. And as you breathe easily, as you relax and let go of all of the thoughts of the day, allow yourself to breathe. Allow your lights to dim. Allow all accompaniment to begin in tone and light. Remain focused on the center, breathing easily, in and out, in and out. And as you continue to breathe in a relaxed, easy, and effortless manner, you feel everything melting away that is of no concern and no relevance to this moment, here and now. Keep breathing in and out, in and out, in and out, and feel the warmth of the vibrational energy of love coursing through your system, through your veins, through your nerves, through every cell in your body. As you continue to breathe, the air itself carries this warm vibration all through, this tingling energy resonating to the core of your being. And as you continue to focus on the center of the holotope, allow yourselves now to imagine that this is a mirror, an actual reflection of the oversoul of your being. And as you peer and ponder upon this diagram of the oversoul with all the lines of light and energy stretching out to infinity in intricate woven patterns of geometric complexity and beauty, of stunning crystal clarity. Each and every line crossing every other forms a nodal point, and each and every one of those nodal points is another parallel incarnation of the same oversoul of which you are an extension. You are now looking at a reflection in the mirror of the energetic oversoul of your being and all of its parallel incarnations
in all alternate realities and simultaneously coexisting dimensions of experience. And as you allow this reflection to imprint itself in the neurological net of the individual incarnation you chose to be, you feel the energy rewiring your neurological net, your brain, your energy, your cellular structure, your genetic makeup. Your energy patterns are all now beginning to reflect back this oversoul pattern. Each and every chakra on your body is reflecting back and contains the totality of this oversoul pattern, as in the old archetypal image of Indra's net, a net of pearls, with each pearl round and perfect and mirror-like, reflecting all the other pearls in the net, so that every pearl contains the information of all the pearls. This oversoul and all the incarnations, though unique in perspective, also connects and cross-links to all other incarnations and downloads information from them to whatever degree, at whatever rate, in whatever manner is relevant for the incarnation that you are here. And now, this day of your time, be present with this vibrational pattern of light, of life, of love, of consciousness. You are all that is, experiencing itself through all the ways and all the perspectives and all the points of view that it can, that it has created itself to be in all of the individual multifaceted crystals that each and every one of you represent a reflection of, glistening, gleaming, star-like, bright bursts of light in the infinite velvet void. You are the infinite pattern that stretches out, that folds back in upon itself and stretches out, and folds back in upon itself and stretches out, like the waves upon the shore, infinitely expanding outward and inward simultaneously to infinite depths and infinite reaches beyond the comprehension of your individual mind, but connecting you through these lines of light and energy to all that is, so that information may be sent to you, streamed to you in whatever way, shape, or form is relevant for your life, and allowing you to know that you are always connected and never alone. Even as you embark on your individual journey, you are never alone. All you need do is pluck one of these strings, one of these chords, one of these lines of light, and set up a vibration. A vibration. A vibration. A relationship with all aspects of all that is, so that it is all experienced by you as an ultimate orchestration, a symphony of sound and light, vibration, a song of cosmic significance. Dive deep into this void. Soar high into the stars and lay deep
in the earth, couched, supported, blanketed by its magnificent, verdant mother arms, nurturing arms, and yet simultaneously dreaming of the stars, floating and flying out among them, and peering through all the veils and portals and dimensional gates at all the different expressions your oversoul has created itself to be. Infinitely reflecting in mirrors all around you, back to you, all you need to know to be who you truly were created to be. Unique. You are child of the cosmos, a child of the stars, a child of creation. You are an extension, a hand, a finger, a fingertip, extending from the oversoul and touching a dream of God. You are the dreams of all that is, living your lives, your experiences, dreaming them into existence, dreaming them into being, all at once and one at a time, in magnificent synchronicity, in a holographic dance of perfect harmony and unconditional being, expanding forever outward, contracting forever inward. The cosmic breath, the tick of the cosmic clock, each second a life and an eternity in one. For there is only one moment in existence, and all of you are that same moment from a different point of view. A garden of beautiful flowers lifting their petals to the bright and shining star of all that is, and rejoicing in the beauty and the nourishment of the sun and the earth. Drink deeply of this nectar and breathe in the atmosphere and environment of your being. Soak it up. Breathe now and make it your own. Breathe in, breathe out, like the waves upon the shore. Relax and know that you are not the same person you were a moment ago. Move forth in your life in a new way, for you are now in a new parallel reality as a new parallel person, and yet all the others always exist. Call upon them when and where you will, but only to the extent that it serves the you prefer to be here and now. You are infinitely supported and infinitely allowed to explore the individual you chose to be. Rejoice in gratitude, love, and light. Relax now. Allow your music to soften, your lights to soften, and go in to the womb of the world. Allow yourselves to relax and come back slowly to your new reality with crystal clarity and knowingness of the path you chose to be, so that you can move upon that path of yourself with your eyes wide open and your hearts beating in time with creation. Relax and enjoy. Our unconditional love to you all, our gratitude for the co-creation of the ongoing interaction that never ends. Go forth in your day and be at peace. Blessings. Did you all enjoy that? Yes.